It's all magic.
We got 2 hours.
It goes by quick.
Why is it so like reclined? I wish it was like.
What do you mean, man? Lounge, bro. What's up? We're live. We're back. Here we are.
What up?
Special guest, Lurker Lou in the building.
I'm here.
Louis
I'm here.
Sarowsky. Did I say that correctly?
Sarowsky. Yeah, everyone
Sarowsky.
says it like the Crystal Swarovski.
Your mind
If I
automatically
cha-
goes to
but
Swarovski.
It always does. But if I was to, I probably could be like a little higher position in like the art or the skating world if I just lied and was like, oh yeah, Swarovski. We're related to the
true.
Crystal family. I mean, we're black sheep of it, but like, you know, it's part of the family.
Of
But yeah,
crystal fame.
yeah, no, my last name is like, people always kind of mispronounce Sarowsky, not Sarowsky, because everyone called that dude Jeff Rowley forever, but it's actually, he says it's Jeff Rowley, so people always call
I
me
definitely said Rowley.
Yeah, everyone says Rowley, and everyone says Sarowsky, but it's like Row.
Got you.
So I don't know. It's a fake made-up name anyways. It came from, like, whatever, like, whenever my great-grandparents came here. It's not real. It's like, they're like, hey, Polish fucking idiot, you got to change your name. So, but, yeah, no, it's...
Shout out all the
And
Polish.
so I
idiots.
didn't know you guys have no. I was like, well, maybe I didn't know if you guys knew each other, but apparently you guys known each other for like ages already.
Yeah, age is 18 years since June 2004, like Memorial Day weekend, 04. We met on a rooftop somewhere.
Here in New York.
Williamsburg, maybe Grand and Graham, like, or like
Yeah.
LES, or like through Jaja for
Yeah.
sure. Shout out Jaja.
Shout out Jaja.
Definitely was the one who linked us up. But yeah, we've known each other for a while, and we worked together like in like props and like set design for like
Truck driving.
5 years. Truck. Oh, you were on set. We let him on set. But yeah, we got it. Jacob and I have history for sure.
That's what's
Definitely.
up. Maybe you've explained this a million times, but where did the name Lurker Lou come from? Because I have no idea.
I could give you the quick brief thing. Was I was 16, 17, going to Boston all the time, and just like all I wanted to do was just be out of Cape Cod on the weekends. There was no way that I could, like, when you're a teenager and you're not from the city, like, weekends suck, dude. So I started going up there, and I go up there, I didn't care. Like, just I have a place to stay. Maybe Eli Reed. Maybe Eli Reed's cousin, Jimmy. Maybe I'd get drunk with Joey and Ben and Vanique, and I would crash on
Vanique
there.
Jacobian.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
Shout out.
Vanique, Joey, Pepper, Ben Colin,
Oh,
Jerry
yeah.
Fowler put up with me as a drunk teenager. And just, I remember this is kind of how it started. It was, woke up on the couch one morning, Joey and Ben's. Like, I think I like called my mom or some shit and like got into a fight with somebody, and Jamal had like duffed this dude. Basically, I talked shit to a bike messenger. Jamal stepped in, fucking,
Laid the
basically
dude
like
out.
fucking. Jamal's a ninja.
Shout out
Yeah,
Jamal
he
for
is.
being a
Shout
real
out Jamal Williams
And
because
he doesn't play around.
and he's OG like Boston Godfather, and he
And he's
kind of
Zen
saw
master.
this bike messenger like just came up and sucker punched me, and Jamal had like done some crazy ninja shit and then dipped out, and the cops saw me going after the bike messenger again, whatever. I didn't have a place to go that night. I crashed on Joey and Ben's couch without their approval. I think, yeah.
And they were like, in the morning, they were like, who the
Sean
fuck is
Keenan
this
lived
dude?
there. Sean Keenan, I don't think Sean cared. I don't think Sean cares much. But I was like on the phone. I was like there, like the landline too on Mission Hill was like, Mom, if you get a call from the police, blah blah blah, like, because I gave the cops all my info and shit. And then Joey like heard me, he came out and he was like, hey man, you just gotta ask if you want to stay here, Lou. Can you ask? I don't want to wake up in the morning and you're just on my couch. We like you. It's cool, man. And then like a couple months later, a week later, whatever, it might have been before that, like I didn't have a place to go, and I'd skated aquarium, and financial was like, it's dark, it's winter. And Eli Reed's cousin's dude, Jimmy, would be like, yo, stay at the crib anytime. Fucking knew where the key was. Went in. Jimmy got home late from work. I'm sleeping on his couch, and he's just like, what are you doing here? And I was like, well, I didn't know this. And Eli said I couldn't stay, and them, and this, and he was like, dude, you can't just like show up to the crib and think you can stay here. And I'm just thinking,
That
like,
one wasn't your fault, though. He told you could.
yeah, nah, but like, yo, shout out Jimmy, because he
He
definitely,
kind of set you up.
yeah, a little bit. And then maybe like this is all within like a 2-month range of all of this, like in 2001. And then there was an apartment that was Doug Brown, Brian Brown's older brother, who filmed like a lot of Vicious Cycle and the DC video. And then this dude, Brad Tucker, and this guy, Nick Briggs. It was their apartment. Nick and Brad are from Martha's Vineyard, which is akin to Cape Cod. So we're fam. And this kid, Andrew McGraw, this Canadian kid, lived there as well. But Andrew didn't really like pay rent. He was just there. Everyone loved Andrew. He was like fucking Gino Iannucci style-wise. Brad and Nick went to the Vineyard that weekend. Saturday, we go out skating with Brian and Doug all day, and I get back from skating, kicked my shoes off. Doug and Brian were just like, looked at me, and they were like, yo, no, you got to ask to stay here. You're lurking too hard. You're Lurker Lou. And because the word was mad hot at that moment, too, like 2001 was like, lurker this, lurker that. Oh, he's a lurker, she's a lurker, they're a lurker. And then Brian and Doug were just like, I can remember.
The popular word at
I
the
can
time.
literally remember Brian Brown's voice. Lurker Lou,
So he
that's
coined it.
Brian and Doug, let it in. And at first I was like, oh, damn. Okay, whatever. My eyes couldn't be on the Cape, dude. I could not. There was no way. I was spent
How far away was Boston from where you grew up?
hour and a half. Not that bad. I'd get on the bus like Fridays after school and take like an hour and 20, hour and a half. But I would just literally like show up to like Aquarium or Financial or wherever and just like look for somebody like, yo, who's crib? Oh, there's a party on Mission Hill. Oh, Matt Bagley and these dudes. Like that's another people that really looked out to was like not
Very fun.
Not Roger Bagley. He had already kind of left Boston, but this guy Matt Bagley, there's no relation. But that dude looked out for me super hard. This guy Jad Angel always looked out for me and let me stay. There was people that didn't care if I lurked on their couch. But we were all young. Like those dudes everyone was like, no one was over the age of 24.
Well, I mean, I lurked on a lot of dudes' couches. So.
Hell yeah.
Same.
I lurked on like Keenan's and Gino's couch for like 6 months.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No.
Finally, Pupecki had to kick me out. He was like, "Don't you have anywhere to go?" I was like, "Actually, no, bro. I'm an amateur skateboarder. I make $500 a month. I don't have anywhere to go."
No. And then my first place my first apartment ever was through Eli Reed. I mean, honestly, man, I'll shout out Eli Reed, dude, because it was because of Eli. He saw me we met at Woodward, and then he saw me at Skater Island, that like big indoor park. And it was like February vacation for school, and he was just like, yo, do not go back to Cape Cod. You should come skate Boston. Weather's going to be nice. Just ride back with me, Ben. And I was like, oh, shit. And then I'm like, oh, shit. Do I want to go back to Cape Cod with my 2 friends, or do I want to go to Boston with Joey Pepper and Ben Colin, who shoots for Skateboarder? Like, Eli, I didn't tell my mom or anything. I just went to Boston for the whole fucking thing and told my mom I was at Zered's. And then I think he was already on tour with like fucking Zoo at that time. And I just stayed in Boston, was like, this is so sick. Like, this is fucking great. And I like at that point was like thinned out on skating parks and was just like, it's all about that. And Eli would let me stay at his crib a lot. And Eli showed me the fucking ropes, man. Like, people can say whatever the fuck they want to say about that dude. He's a stand-up guy. I love Eli.
For sure.
And if it wasn't for Eli, I don't think I would have ever like, I probably would have just been like a skate park like nerd or some shit. And then like mad people in Massachusetts, I swear to God, they still skate like it's 2002, like back and forth, like Trey flipped the pyramid, fakey frontside flipped the hip. I'm like, I would still skate like these dudes if I didn't get out of here. Eli, he just introduced me to everybody, and at that point, like I don't know, Boston was a good scene. It was actually a really good skate scene back then.
That's what I wanted to ask you. You're from a town called Dennisport, right?
Dennisport, yeah.
What was like going on around there? Like, is there no scene? Is there no Cape Cod scene?
There was actually mid-90s. Like I started in '95. September. I started the day I got my first board, Tree Fort Blank 9595, September 5th, 1995. And then from there was like a couple other kids that were a little older than me. They skated. And then 2 of my brother's friends skated. So I had like a couple of older guys, but no one really my age. I was 11. And surprisingly, there actually was kind of a little skate thing happening on Cape Cod. There was a skate shop called Boarding House. They threw contests. There was skate parks, like maybe 3 or 4 skate parks like spread throughout the Cape. And I didn't really go to them that much. Like my first 2 years, I was just like, I think maybe almost 2 years, and I didn't even ride up a transition. I remember riding up a quarter pipe and just being like, what the it was nothing I ever felt, because I'd only skated curbs and like flat ground. It was so weird, and I was just like, yo, this is bugged out. But there was a strong skate scene on the Cape between like this kid Chris Mayer and Jay Perna that I started with. Chris passed away. Jay and I still keep in contact, but I went to high school with Jay, and Zered knew Jay Perna too, because he would drive us to the skate park before any of us got our driver's license, and like it was a pretty actually like a thorough scene. PJ Ladd's like aunt or something lived in my town, so he would come down a lot. The Coliseum guys would come down a lot before I ever went up to skate a city. So it was like, now it's like no, like it's kind of, there's like a little bit more because there's more parks being built, but
I met that kid from DGK. I think he's from
Brian
Cape Cod.
Reed.
Yeah.
He's no
good.
joke.
Yeah, he's pretty sick.
Yeah, he's sick. He's sick. And so, like, at that time, it was kind of popping. But by 2001, like, the kind of, like, the older guys were, like, maybe kind of thinning out. Or, like, there was also, like, the older guys were very, like, heshed out. They were, like, 151, Black Label. And I was like, girl chocolate. Like, I'm cool with Pigpen. Like, I'm good. I'll pass on Pigpen. But, and they were always cool. But it was definitely, like, the older guys were hesh. And we were kind of, like, trying to, like, you know, we weren't like into like anything really East Coast yet. I thought Zoo York was whack until I like got really stoned on Vinnie Ponte and Steve Nardone's like couch and was like, or it was like Vinny's house or some shit, and I was like, yo, Harold's a good skateboarder.
Yeah.
Because
he's
when
pretty
you're
sick.
young, when you're young, when you're 14, 15, and you're looking up to like California skateboarding, and then you like smoke pot and realize you're not that good at skateboarding, and like Chet Thomas is not actually what you should be looking up to in skateboarding coming from the East Coast. And I was like, whoa, like it was like going with Eli and those dudes. It was like an awakening. Like, dude, be proud of the East Coast. Be proud of where you're from. Like Zered was getting on Zoo, and Jamal was like, and if Jerry Fowler was living out there, you knew it was like, you should be proud of like Boston and the East Coast. So like, but the Cape was like, it was kind of doing its thing. But by the time 2000 came along, it was like everyone was kind of older or quit, and then it was time to go to the city. So from 2000, like, I was like 2000 to 2002, I was all Bostoned out.
But when you were young, your dad had a liquor store, right?
Yeah.
Did you ever work there?
I was like definitely sorting. I was like the redemption center, like boy, definitely, because he had like the recycling center. He had the first drive-through package. It's a package store.
It was like literally a liquor, like only alcohol, or was it like a bodega?
In mass, beer and liquor and wine has to all be sold together. Package store. That's what they call them there. A package, and everything has to come out in a brown paper bag. That's why it can be called package stores.
I know Massachusetts has crazy alcohol laws.
It was more crazy back then. That's why you could skate. Like the liquor store that my dad owned was a bank. Prior to that. So they had a drive-through with double-sided curbs. So before I started skating, my dad owned the liquor store. And on Sundays, skaters would show up because they knew the liquor store was closed, and my dad, he wouldn't kick them out, or his employees wouldn't kick them out. And I just started to see them like, oh, like they always be there, like, damn, like, this is cool. And I would just, you know, kind of, I was always interested in skating. From
So your
like,
dad's liquor store was a skate spot.
pretty much,
Yeah.
yeah. It was a Shawmut Bank. It was a Shawmut Bank, which was a bank in Massachusetts. And then my dad's liquor store was up the road like 4 or 5 miles, and then he got the location super close to our house that was like kind of a skate spot. And then from there, yeah, I worked there. Like you could pull up to the drive-through at this time because there was some legalities, but you couldn't hand the like 12-pack through the teller window. So I would go out with the beer and put it in the car, and then sort empties when people would drop off like bags of cans. Like I would sort Coca-Cola, Natural Light, Bud Light, Coors Light, and then you throw them into the bins. It smells, and there's like bees everywhere.
So you're like a beer boy.
Yeah, I was a beer boy. And then my dad sold it. One of his employees sold to an underage guy, and it kind of set him up as a sting. So then my dad represented himself because he didn't want to hire a lawyer, and he was just like going into debt and was just like got rid of the liquor store, and then he quit drinking. So it was like he sold liquor store in May, and then he got sober in like July, all in '95, and then I started skating in September. So I saw it a lot. I was definitely exposed to like the dudes doing like board slides on the double-sided curb because it was like really good, dude. It had really good double-sided curbs. And after my dad sold it, this other guy bought it, and he would kick us out. If he pulled up on a Sunday to do shit, he'd be like, "No, you guys can't be up." Dude, my dad sold you this liquor store. Like, I don't care. But it was a spot, dude. It was a really good spot. And now it was it got turned into a 7-Eleven, and they fucking smashed all the double-sided curbs, and now the 7-Eleven's out of business as of recently. So, but yeah, pretty much like that. And my brother.
So that's how you got introduced to skating. Sorry.
First time I ever saw it. First time I ever was like, I'm doing that. There was a guy running out of the grass trying to ollie over the double-sided curb, and I was sitting at the red light with my grandmother, shotgun, my mom driving. I'm in the back seat, and we were at the red light, and we watched this guy try to ollie the double-sided curb. And you know what? My mom said, she goes, she looked at her mother, and she said, none of my children have the patience for that. And I was like, and I still remember I tell her that shit. I'm just like, that shit drove me to want to get good. When she was like, none of my children have the patience for that. Oh, watch me. And I was like probably like 7, and then I started skating when I was 11. So, but I always I always wanted from Skate TV would come on, and I would grab my brother's board and go fuck around the street, and his friends would be like, dude, it's crazy. He like watches it and then goes and does it. I'd be like, no shit. But I also had training wheels like on my bike. And I couldn't fucking ride a bike, but I could push on a board standing up. And nobody in my neighborhood could do it. They all be knee boarding and butt boarding. And I couldn't ride a bike, but I could skate. So
Did you have, oh, sorry.
No, you go ahead.
I was going to say, did you have as much energy as you have now?
always, dude. I drive people nuts. I drive my wife nuts in the morning. How do you have so much energy? I went to bed at 10 o'clock at night. It's 7 a.m. I'm done. I'm late. I'm up. I just cranked out some Buddy's fucking Taylor Naraki coffee. Got me juiced right now.
So the crew that was skating there, did you become friends with them, or were they like older than you? Because you were kind of young, right?
On the Cape?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the guys that you saw skating at the.
Dude, all those guys, you know what's crazy? Is that all those guys that I saw skating at that spot, like, are the kind of guys that were riding their bikes as adults. And my mom's like, see all those skateboarders? They all lost their license. They all got DUIs. See that guy? Remember him? He used to always be at the bank. See him? We drive by, she's like, hey, look at him. Look at him. He's riding his bike. He got a DUI. When you see someone on a bike as an adult, in New York, it's one thing. When you out in the cut and
They're like, it's like,
you don't gotta do it.
It's not for exercise.
It's embarrassing for them. So she would always point them out, like, oh, I remember that guy. He used to always be at the A&P. A&P was like a grocery store in New England, A&P, and that's where we, after my dad sold a liquor store and I started skating, we transferred to the A&P parking lot, and that's where, like, it was our EMB. Like, we took all the parking blocks, we arranged them up, down, across islands. Like, dude, we Lord of the Flies this parking lot there, and all the guys were older than me. Nah, they didn't kick us out, but I got kicked out of the store for stealing M&Ms from the store, the big party family size bag, and they never, even after like we shoplifted from the grocery store, they still never like kicked the skateboards out. They just knew when the skateboarders were going into the grocery store, you just had your eyes on them because they were going to steal shit. And all those guys were kind of older than me, like Chris Mayer and Jay Perna. Those dudes were older than me, but I think like, I'm trying to think, like, there was, everybody was older. One kid was younger than me, and then they made me fight him. Jay and Chris were just terrible. They turned me into who I am today.
That sounds,
but no,
that's
for
how
real,
it was back in the day. They'd be like, you got to fight that kid, or else we're gonna fuck
when
you
it
up.
was just, when it was just Chris Mayer, it was great. Or when it was just Jay, it was great. But you got Jay and Chris together. I'm a 6th grader, and they're an 8th grader. Forget it. Oh, Lou, do this. I stole the M&Ms because they told me to. Like, and like Jay to this day is still like a great person. Shout out Jay Perna, because he was really truly the first person I started skating with, and then I moved on. Like, my brother's friends kind of skated. This dude Rudy Wallace, and then this dude Dax Pinto. And Dax was the guy who kind of really like took me around as a kid. He was like probably like 16 when I was. My brother's 5 years older than me, 5.5, almost 6 years older than me. And his friends that skated would like take me in the car and show me around, be really nice to me. They like took me out everywhere for the first like year and a half of skating.
I feel the same way. All the older kids like hooked me up, and they brought me around to all the spots.
But I didn't have anyone my exact age. Like, there was a kid that was a little younger than me. This kid Jamie, he moved away, and this other kid Zach. And like, other than that, like Chris and Jay fizzled when they got kind of like through high school, like maybe like midway, and then at the end of 8th grade is when I met Zered.
That was the next question.
Yeah, but I had a couple.
How did you guys meet?
I had a click between Jay and Chris, at these other kids, these kids who lived in this town called Harwich, which was right next to me, and then they all fizzled. Basically, it was like, if they quit, why would I want to be friends with you? Like the kid that I started with, he quit right away. So then the kid Chris got his board, and I was like, so basically my friend Andrew that I grew up with, he bought a board with me. He sucked. He gave it away. Chris took it, essentially stole it. Chris Mayer stole the board. Chris was a bad kid. Rest in peace. And fucking Chris, like, yo, and he got good quick at skating. We both were getting kind of good quick, and when they fizzled, I went to the next crew. They fizzled, and then I met Zered, and Zered never fizzled.
I mean,
and I'm still friends with him.
Definitely has never fizzled.
Zered Bassett has never fizzled.
That's safe to
He's
say.
Like 37 years old. The man has never fizzled since he was.
Shout
11.
out Z, you're the man, dude.
So yeah, and then Zered and I were kind of inseparable.
But how did you guys meet though? Or
I had heard about him because it was like on the Cape. It's a peninsula, so it's skinny. Like every town goes from north to south, from water to here, and every town had a kid that was like kind of good at skating. There was like Yarmouth, there was this kid Jeff Thompson and Nick Grew. And they were Jeff and Nick. And then Hyannis, there was this kid Billy Campbell. Billy still skates. Billy is amazing skateboarder still. And then in Harwich, there was a kid Blake Buddensey. And if Blake kept skating, he would have been bigger than Zered and fucking anybody. But Blake was from Harwich. And then I started hearing like this name at the Harwich skate park with his kids. They'd be like, oh, this guy Sarah. No one could say, still, we were just talking about, no one could say his name right. No one could say like Zered. They called him Sarret. All these fucked up names. And then I went to his town and I went to his skate park. And I'm there for like hours skating, and I'm like thinking I'm like a little hot shit because I can backflip the handrail and shit. And I'm like, I got backflips down the fucking handrail. And this kid shows up, and I had known that he wasn't hot on the fucking street shit. He was a ramp dude, but he could bust like. I had never seen anyone skate a ramp. Mm-hmm. I'd seen people skate mini ramp. Man, this guy can skate mini ramp, but I'd never seen anyone actually stand up front 5-0 for like 12 feet. Mm-hmm. Front side air disaster.
Very comfortable.
Like, oh, wow. Oh, so this is the dude. And then the first time I met him, he doesn't remember it, but like I've told the story to him a million times. I like did it was the back lip I did down like the park rail, and somebody on the bench was like, "Oh, what's that?" I was like, "Back lip," and he was like, "Nobody cares." And I was like, "This dude," I was like, "Fuck him, fuck him, fuck him."
Who said that?
Zered.
Oh, he did.
Hey, shout out to Zered.
But I also back then, still even to this day, I'm still even to this day. Zered's told me that
And
my
you
whole
guys
life.
didn't
He's
know
like,
each other?
we didn't know each other, but I knew of him. I knew that Sarret, which is Zered, was like the hot kid from Chatham. And he was the hot ticket. So I saw him. I was like, oh, this kid is good. He does 360 early grabs. He was fucking doing like no footer. Wild, like definitely like Chaz McGee, that kid that was from Ohio, the black kid that was like on Volcom. He would do like 720 early grabs. He was almost like a Chaz McGee of Chatham in a way. Like, and then there was a contest like maybe like 3 weeks later in the town that I'm from Dennis. Zered's from Chatham. The town between us is Harwich, and there was a contest at the Harwich skate park. I think like we were in the same group. I think he won his age and I won my age, or he got first and I got third, and then it was like we were just hanging out, talking, skating, and he didn't remember like the 3 weeks prior when he was like, nobody cares. But Zered was he ran his town. That kid would show up on a 4-wheeler after digging clams and making like $150 at like 13. Zered was he's always been ahead of the game. But then when we finally clicked after the contest, was like, hey, can you want to sleep over at my house? Like straight up, like he came from that contest at Harwich and slept over my house, and I showed him like kind of his first skate video and took him like, because my town, Dennisport, actually had like suburbial street spots. So, and then we were pretty inseparable after that, and that was like.
It's funny because I remember back in the day, you would spend the night at somebody's house that you never even like. You know,
hell yeah! Dude.
You're like, that's how you like got to know a kid. You're like, hey, you want to come hang out at my house? And you're like, okay, I guess.
I knew kids that on the low. That's how they survived.
Oh yeah,
like they were like just like in the group of kids, and they ended up at someone's house like almost.
My mom
every
started
night.
giving Zered's mom like Stop and Shop like gift cards and shit because I still eat a lot. I have like a huge appetite. And my mom knew how much I ate, especially as a growing boy. She would always like, not always, but like I feel like around like the holidays, she would give like Louisa like a $200 or $250 gift card to Stop and Shop. But yeah, Zered's house was so close to the skate park, and Zered lived next to the good skate park, and his dad is mad good at building shit, and his dad would build really dope shit. And I think Zered has told this story maybe with you, but we used to cut across the airport and shit. We cut a hole in the fence. There was an airport that separated his house from the skate park, and me and him cut a hole in the fence, and we would run across the fucking airstrip of this airport to get to the skate park. Straight up, like,
so it was like such like a longer trip to go.
Yeah, to go from like his house, you'd have to go around, then down a dirt road, and then up, and then to the skate park. Instead, you could just go boom, psh, and you just watch out for planes and make sure there's nothing going off or taking off. But then they got like radioed in a couple different times. Yeah. We caused a lot of havoc when we were, teenagers, dude.
Yeah.
Just finding a loophole, like however way you want.
Teenagers, dude.
Isn't Brandon Westgate from around there too?
He's from the Cape. He's from this town, Wareham, which is like right after like the canal, like before they dug the canal. It's Wareham is Cape Cod, but a lot of people on the Cape because of the canal, like, oh, it's wrong. But Wareham. So Westgate's like, yeah, he's from like right like the first town, but he's from the other side of the canal, which like true Cape Codders are like, that's not the Cape. Even people like where like that kid Kevin Coakley is from further up, and they think like where I'm from is like, that's not really the Cape. Like the further you get towards Provincetown, the more they're like, that's not the Cape.
You got to be closer to the like end the
to
tip,
the
right?
end of the tip to be really like in the mix of it. But that's just like mass holes.
I feel like everybody just wants to be special somehow.
Yeah, that's the thing. Well,
I want to be special.
Yeah, everybody wants.
Can we just be special, please?
Yeah, that's America. Everyone wants to be unique. Everyone wants to be special. Be their own person. No, it's not one for all for one here. It's all about me. Yeah. F you. I don't care. Your GoFundMe, whatever. It's like,
yeah.
But yeah,
you kind of touched on it a little bit though. So like because every skater similarly has the same story where they start skating in their area and then they eventually make it to like. For you, it was Boston.
Boston, yeah.
Like, how did that first start happening for you? Where you're like traveling to the big city or whatever.
I would take this bus, the Plymouth and Brockton bus, P&B, and it would go from this town, Hyannis, and it would stop a couple times to get to Boston. It would stop. The last stop it would do is in Rockland, the town that PJ Ladd is from, and it would stop in like Wareham or Sandwich. Wareham, Sandwich, or Bourne. This is fucking stupid.
Wait, what?
Yeah, these towns on Cape Cod. People
sounds like some old school England.
Yeah, there's
like
Mashpee, Sandwich, Bourne, and Wareham. You Wareham, Bourne, whatever. So it would stop there. But I figured out this hustle where I would buy my tickets to like, I'd get on in Hyannis, but I'd buy the tickets to like Sandwich. So they'd be like $4 bus ticket. So I would cause all these little hustles, and they barely ever caught me on the bus. So when I would be in Boston on Sunday night coming home, I'd buy my ticket to Rockland, which was like $6. And when you get off the bus, they'd be like, yo, where's your ticket? The driver, I'd be like, oh, I don't know, I lost it, and just like run away. And they never really gave me shit, but I would hustle that. Like, so I'd pay half the price for the bus tickets, and just, I'd get out of school on Fridays. This high school I went to, Cape Cod Tech, they fucking let us out at 2 p.m., which would give me just enough time to get to Hyannis from that town to be able to get the 2:30 bus to get to Boston around like 4. And in the winters, New England, it gets dark at like 4:10, 4:15, a little bit quicker than it does in New York City. And so I basically just get off the bus and like go to a spot and be like, okay, who's here? It's cold. It's dark. No one's out. Fuck, where am I going to go?
Was it always the same spot? Where were people? Was it like Copley?
Copley was kind of fizzled.
Because that was like
point.
Older. Like that was
Copley
like
was
back
like,
in the day, right?
Copley was like mid-90s. And then they kind of cracked down. And it was also too like, in that age, you kind of had to step it up ledge-wise. Like now you can skate a ledge like reggaeton and it doesn't matter. But there was a point in skating where it was like, yeah.
Like that ledge isn't high enough.
That ledge isn't high enough. It was at that point. So
because Copley was kind of small, right?
Copley's small. Now you go to Copley and like, I mean, there was a minute people weren't even skating the bottom; they were skating the second step. And then from that point, everybody was kind of like financial, like those windowsill ledges. And I always hated that. It was downhill. They were skinny.
That's where PJ did the crazy line.
Still to this day, I've never liked that spot. And then Will Harmon, Steve Nardone, Jeremy Rogers, Eli, myself. I think this kid Kevin Garabedian from Rhode Island. We were the first ones to really start waxing up the aquarium ledges, which is at the harbor, which is called Long Wharf. And those were sharp. They were grand. They were rough. But it was open, and the ground wasn't that good. But that's really when it kind of started. It was like summer of 2000. It was like, we just called it aquarium because it was next to Boston Aquarium. It was the Long Wharf. And we kind of put in work there. Like, shout out Will Harmon, Steve Nardone. They were always like the kind of like, they weren't like the top tier Boston pros, but they always were cool to the younger kids. Not to say they Jerry and Jamal weren't, but they would be like, Steve, like Nardone, like always let dudes stay at the crib. Like Zered lived at Nardone's closet, and Will would always drive us around. Will had like a white Honda and would just be like, go to the spot and be like, oh.
He used to live in SF for a long time.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever met him. He lives in London now.
Yeah, he does Free Skate Mag now.
Mm-hmm. So many people came through SF.
Oh yeah, dude. There was a lot
Shout
of New
out Will
Englanders.
Harmon.
Like and even like Nick.
And shout out to the cool OGs.
Oh, cool. There's a lot of those.
Which ones?
Which ones?
the ones that were cool to the youngsters.
Oh, the
That's
ones
what I
that.
mean.
Oh, okay, I
yeah,
got you.
yeah. So like, but like, say we would be at aquarium and be like waxing them. It took a lot of work to get that thing going, but that became our Mecca EMB. It became our love of my generation. Then the generation I left, and then the next generation, they all became like the Eggs crew, which I never cared to skate Eggs because it was like skating inside of a fucking shoebox. It's like really tight and congested. And like after Steve Durante did a switch 360 flip 5-0 in a line, what can be done in a line here that's better than what Steve did? And AQ, I just always liked the vibe there.
That's pretty dope. It seems pretty dope.
No, Steve Durante was the best skater alive. And the Boston was cool. It's a good trainer city. Like if you grow up and you skate like, and you're from the suburbs and you want to be like, oh, I live outside of Minneapolis, and like smaller cities are good trainer cities for like New York, LA, or I mean SF is a different city than all those, I would say. But it's good to have a small city as a skater to get your roots going in and then take it elsewhere. Because it's like Boston was a good trainer city to like learn the ethics of like an urban skate environment and like be a part of that scene was like, it was great, dude. I skated with Jeremy and Eli all the time, dude. Stayed at Jeremy's house a lot. Jeremy was from like Blackstone Valley, which was like less than an hour from the city. So I would actually go to Boston sometimes, and we take the commuter rail home, and we spend the night at Jeremy's house, like outside the city. And yeah, that was fun.
Definitely a lot of good skaters came out of Boston.
They're just they were all driven, dude. Everybody was just driven. Everybody was motivated and wanted to be the best they could be. Like there was like the kids that you knew were going to be the shit, which was like PJ and Ryan. And then I kind of knew my position. Like Zeb Weissman and I, we kind of knew our position. We're like, we're okay at skating. But Jamal would also tell us, like, yo, don't ever give up, man. Just keep, like, just do your thing. You guys can skate. You guys are doing your thing. But, like, Eli and PJ and Ryan and Zered were, like,
those
definitely on another.
I mean,
they were
some of the best skaters in the world.
Oh, it was crazy. But, like, also,
level.
too, when you see, like, Ryan's pop and PJ skills at like 16, you're like, yeah, I'm gonna keep landscaping. I'm like, I don't know about this. I'm at work, and I know that I can be all right at skating, but those dudes are like,
it's like something they see that other people don't see. You know,
yeah, it was like
Jesus.
it's
just a natural gift.
I mean, you know, when you're like, you know, when you're a kid and you saw Mike Carroll, you're like, oh, okay, that's good. All right. I'm all right. I'm doing my thing. I know my lane. I think I knew my lane before my lane was even like.
It's always good to know your lane. I feel like sometimes I didn't really know my lane.
I'm glad. I think
you were a certain age where you were younger, but you were still like in the mix with all the OGs.
Yeah,
and shit,
yeah.
like,
I'm glad I learned my lane. Was like get a job, work. It makes you appreciate skating 1,000 times more, and just like. Get good. And then there was like, it was also to that era where like when I was about a teenager, it was like guys like Kenny Reed and like Louis Barletta that were coming up. They were like, they were into their 20s. Where after like 25, it was like dudes just quit. Like New York scene, like they were like, yo, whatever, man.
Like you're gonna.
Yo, 25. Like I feel like like Hickey and those dudes, like there was like a thing. It was like once you became like in your mid-late 20s, like skating was like kind of corny in a way. It was like, nah, I don't want to look like a skater. I don't want to be around skating. Like I only have a job at Supreme because I fell into it. It's just whack. Like it was just like the skating was so cool that like, but also there wasn't a platform like people talk about Matt Hensley like at 24 had to retire like. So kind of when I was a late teenager, there was positions, and I was like, oh, maybe I could just keep skating, and then like when I'm 28, I kind of just at that age knew that I wasn't like that skilled as a skateboarder. I was all right, and I just knew my like playing field, and like RB and Zered definitely like gave me the platform to be in like Vicious Cycle, and I'll always be appreciative to RB. Like getting to film with RB as a kid.
Yeah.
Seeing his name in videos for so long, RB Molly. Oh, now I'm like filming with that dude. Yeah, you got to go hard.
Oh, for sure.
There was like I didn't get that opportunity in Boston. Like I think I shot a couple photos with Ben Colin, filmed a couple tricks with like Haven Lamoureux.
I remember that guy.
Haven,
he lived in L.A.
Yeah. He filmed a lot of Skatemore, and Haven was the first dude I ever filmed a trick with on a real camera. And I actually won't even say it's a real camera because it was a Canon GL1.
Oh, okay.
But Haven was the first dude to be like.
Yeah, I was just like.
Haven was the first dude to actually be like, and Ben Colin was the first dude to like snap a sequence of me. So shout out those dudes. But I think at that point where they were kind of giving me a chance, and Ben would be like, yeah, Mesa saw the sequence. It's like, it's all right. But I'd be like, hey, man, don't matter. Mesa saw the sequence. He saw it. Like, there'd be something that might happen.
Something that you mentioned a few minutes ago is interesting because Matt Hensley retired at 24.
Yeah.
And that's what caused Mike Carroll, from my understanding, and Rick Howard to, like, have a panic attack and start girl skateboarding.
Because they were like,
because they were like, oh shit, we could be done if we leave our careers in the hands of these people. We could be done in the next 2 years.
Yeah, they're just gonna fizzle you for the next kid that can pressure flip or piss piddle. Like it was like that, dude.
And Matt Hensley at the time was like, why did he retire? The dude was like amazing. He was killing it. And so it was like it's weird that
Hensley. Yeah, like Hensley was before me, but like just knowing like how impactful he was into skating, and that he just like kind of was like I don't really know the story that well. Not forced retirement, but that's just how skating was, and it changed like. It changed in that era. I remember like it being like, oh my God, Tony Hawk's 30. I remember like hearing Mike Carroll and Mike and Rick and Costin were turning 30. Like Jeremy told me Jeremy Raj, because he was just getting all these. I was just like, dude,
those guys are old as fuck.
Dude, they're fucking 30. And now it's like now people look at Tony Hawk and Lance, and like I was watching that Salma 9 Club, and it's like, dude, they're like 50s. Like that's crazy. But then when like say like. When my generation, Zered's generation, if we're in our 50s and we're still skating, like, yeah, you should. Good. They already did it. Like, those guys are really, like, trailblazing, laying down, like, shit, like, that generation. And they always have, like, Lance Mountain, those guys are 50s. Like, so it's amazing now to see it, but in 20 years, everyone who's in their 50s, everyone who's skating right now is going to be skating in their 50s. So, yeah, it's cool. Like, I just love seeing older guys still skate. I respect the youth. Don't get me wrong, but I do get really psyched when I see like a 45-year-old that's like guy that's like you could still do it, dude. Or like Ave, like that's what juices
and
me
actually
up.
Like getting better,
getting better, and not like using excuses. Like it's rad that skating, and there's a position for people like that, like Kevin Taylor. And
for sure.
And there's dudes that are still ripping. Like, you know, I was never a big Chris Markovich fan, but it's cool to see how fucking good he still is on a skateboard and guy. And it's like, it's motivational to me. Like, that's why I always loved skating with Dave Cato, because he's got 5 years. He's like 5 years older than me. So it's like 4 or 5 years older than me. It's like, Cato still got it. It gives me hope that if I stay on this and I treat myself good and we do this, then I can still be skating.
When you get older, it's a gift that you obtained through the years. You shouldn't treat it like it's like, oh, it's like, get it away from me, hot potato. It's like, yo, I am healthy as hell at my age because I still do this, and you guys can all like chill out and have your legs fall apart. And,
Is Chris Markovich still ripping? I haven't seen him
He
anywhere.
is. I kind of like I creep on his Instagram every now and again. I don't know how it happened, but I was just definitely like, wow. Like,
shout out to Markovich.
Yeah, shout out Markovich. And also, you know what? Shout out any skateboarder that don't matter if you're pro or not. If you had an issue with substance abuse, if you were alcoholic or drug addict, like Guy or whoever, and you gave it up, you got clean, and you're ripping.
Shout out.
I get way more psyched with knowing how gnarly Abe and Dill and those dudes did their drugs and they partied and they got their shit together and they're still skating good. Like I like that.
Even
like
Reynolds and all those.
Yeah, Greco. It's like it's just cool that everyone in skateboarding is getting to witness guys, girls, everyone getting older and still like ripping, like Alexis and like that, and you know, Alyssa's still skating. Like it's just cool because the industry used to shut that shit down in 25, 30 years ago. So I like that there's a position for every demographic because dudes who are 45, they want to buy a 45-year-old, they want to buy an Ave board, they want to buy a Guy board or like whatever. So it's nice that we have that. Yeah. There's a market for 15 to 20-year-olds from 25 to 35 and 40 and above, and like it's rad. And I'm just psyched that there's people that are ex-addicts or whatever that show you like life ain't over, man. And you can just
keep definitely inspiring.
Hell yeah, like
the book isn't done.
No.
So you're skating a lot in Boston at this time back in the days to go back, and you and Zered, you guys are like, let's fuck it, let's get out of here, let's move to New York.
Well, I was doing the thing after high school for a couple months in Boston. Eli Reed's mom rented me out a room in their basement. I was posted up there for a minute. And then Zered got back from Europe in that summer of 2002, and he was like, yo, Retta's girl's father has a crib in New York, and Jeff's going to get it for us, and we're going to have a Zoo York house. And this was in, like, September of 2002, and I was like, oh, no way. And Zered was crashing with me at Eli's for a while. I was paying, like, $200 in rent or some shit and sharing the basement with Eli's brother, Chaz. And then
was the crib super big or something?
Eli's?
No,
or
Retta's girl's crib.
Yeah, it was like.
Because I remember Retta's girl at the time. She was like.
Aki. Yeah.
She was from like a family that was involved with like diamonds or jewelry or something.
I'm not too sure, but Aki's dad had the space. Yeah, wealth. And, I mean, of course, Retta would know more of the deal than me, but I know that Aki's dad had the place. It was an office that had no windows, that got converted into like an apartment, and it was kind of illegal. And it was a block and a half from World Trade Center, which at that time was Ground Zero. It was on Fulton and Broadway, which the church was right there. And then you walked a block and a half, and you were right at Ground Zero. So I think a lot of the tenants had moved out. There was one tenant that stayed after 9/11. And so we came in November 2002, but in September we came down.
The vibe around there must have been weird.
It was weird, but it didn't matter when you're like 18 going on 19 and you're just like Pyramid Ledge, blah, I don't care. Yeah, you're like, it was already like, I was like, I don't care. Like, I don't want to be in Boston anymore. I remember we went in September to go to New York, me, Andrew McGraw, Zeb, and Zered. And it wasn't like we're like checking out the apartment. We were just like, oh, we're just going to go to New York. And that was when the rumblings were kind of happening. It was like late summer 2002 where it was like basically like Pang and Retta were trying to get Zered to be in New York. And they got the 3-bedroom. And they were like, Billy was kind of on Zoo Rohan. So he got a room. And Brian was going to Pace and wasn't going to pay for the dorm. So they were like, Brian, Billy Rohan, and Zered got this 3-bedroom with a glass door, and that was our only window. We'd get maybe direct light in the summer for a little bit, but the whole vicious cycle thing basically started there because, you know, when you're 18 now, you stay up mad late, you skate all night, stay up late, sleep all day, you wake up. Our hours were just so out of whack with no windows. So by the time we were going to bed, the financial district was popping, like 6, 7 in the morning. So we'd be trying to go to bed, and we'd hear everything, and then it's like 11 a.m. and Zered would just come out of his room and be like, I can't really sleep. And then we'll just like hit up RB and go skate for a little, go to Tompkins. And it was just like little sleep and a lot of skating and just repeat. And like no real direct sunlight and just living in a box of just like, and at that time too, it was like Zered was filming like a rookies for 4-on-1, but 4-on-1 was like at that point like totally like trash.
Oh,
like,
it was already
gone.
It was already done.
And then it was just RB was just like, he's got so much shit. Let's just like make a video. And it was like, you know, PJ's video had just came out. We were just like, all right. And then I think Zered had came out of like his bedroom and was like, just living in this vicious cycle. And we were drinking like a lot of like soda and playing like Vice City.
I could
So
see him
when you
saying that.
drink like, and we weren't even partying. We were like drinking. We were like, no one was like fucking doing coke and shit like that. We were just like kids.
Like you were literally living in like, yeah, you weren't partying. Like
No.
you weren't causing the issues to yourself.
No,
Yeah.
but we would just like realize like, dude, when you drink like Coca-Cola and fucking things, you actually cannot sleep. So we just, we couldn't, and we just
You're
wake up
learning
and go
these
and vicious cycle. Continue the next day, go out, get clips all night, get clips all day, and that's how that all turned out. Was like basically like, Aki, dad, Retta, Pang was running the whole zoo show at that point, and like. Zered was the golden boy, and he was ripping, and they were just down. And Zoo had that Echo money. They had just moved to 38th and Broadway by Times Square, and it was like, and I think actually the rent for that place was like maybe like 12.
But you guys weren't paying any rent?
No, Zoo paid for everything from November 2002 to June 04. We lived there.
That's tight.
Yeah, and we spent a
It's
lot.
kind of like Entourage.
Yeah.
It was sick, dude.
Like,
we had some.
Zered's the golden boy.
Yeah, but they were on tour a lot. Like
Uh-huh.
Billy wouldn't go on every tour, but he would go on a lot, and I would have the crib to myself
That's sick.
for months. All summer, mine. It was sick. It was sick because Brian was on tour, Billy was on tour, and fucking Zered was on tour, and it was like I got the crib to myself, like, and I wouldn't even invite anybody over. Like I'd like skate Tompkins all day, go skate with people, like.
Yeah.
I'd love coming home like at like 11 o'clock at night and just be like, yes,
Something I didn't have a lot in my 20s was a nice house to come home to.
with nobody there. That was sweet. And it was great. And then Billy got like kicked off, let go from Zoo. And then at that time, they were like, Brian and Zered were in Europe, and I was sleeping in Zered's room. And then Billy got kicked out. Kicked off. I hate to say it, kicked out or kicked off. They like let him go. It was just wasn't working out. And so when he moved out, Doug Brown was sleeping on the couch. We were all filming. Doug took Billy's room for a few months, and Zered came back from Europe. I got out of Zered's room, and then I fucking took over Brian's room or Doug's room because Doug went to go film the DC video. He went to Cali, and that apartment was sick. But we got kicked out because it wasn't zoned residentially, and these people came through and they knocked on the door like, "Hey, can we take photos?" And I think like Brian and his
Yeah, you guys
ex-girl
were like,
at
"Sure."
the time, they were just like, "What?" They just kind of like threatened Brian and Liz. I think they were like, "We need to come in here and take photos of everything right now," and I think that's what kind of like leaked it all. And then we got all the eviction notices, and then everybody went their separate ways. But it was a great time. Zoo House. There was like a Big Brother article about.
It's interesting because I'm always curious to know about people's first year in New York
Yeah.
City, because everybody has some kind of like story like that of their first
Airbed.
apartment,
Yep.
or like some kind of crazy apartment
Sleeping
situation
on an
that they
air
had to deal
mattress
with.
in the corner of the room, patching the air mattress,
It's kinda
finding the
like-
leak.
It's like the hazing into the city. Everybody has to
Yeah.
go through their starter apartment.
But you literally have to do that to come to New York. You like have to
I'm
have
thinking
someone
about
who's
mine.
like nice enough to let you do the couch for a few months till someone's like, "Yo, a room opened up and you want to help work on this photo shoot or bar back or whatever." That's how you gotta come. You can't be like, "Oh, I'm gonna move to New York. I'm gonna get an apartment. Me and my girlfriend, like, you know, you and your girl are gonna break up, and that apartment's gonna leak, and something's gonna happen." So you just gotta move to New York with a homie, crash on the couch. Like my sister's friend's kids trying to move to New York. I'm like, dude, just come here, sleep on your cousin's couch, get a job at Trader Joe's, straight up, and you'll figure it out. And that's like New York. You just gotta come here and figure it out. I was bouncing back and forth to help my dad landscape for the first like year. I was living in New York almost, and then this dude Joe Bulio, who was a filmer, Fred Gall's boy, got me a job on set working on commercial, not more like fashion shit, more than like anything else. So that's how I ended up getting in there in like 03. So Zered, Joe, Eli, I always shout those dudes out. Like if it wasn't for
What were you
I
gonna
was just
say?
saying,
Hey,
you gotta,
shout out to-
you gotta know when to pivot, man. In New York City, when you're young, you gotta know how to pivot. When to pivot.
You gotta know when to like get off the couch, get your shit together.
But
and
if someone fires you, you gotta be like, okay, cool, peace, and then try to find another job. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like you gotta really be able to do that.
You gotta really
be on top of.
And
You gotta be on
really
top of your
want
Yeah,
shit.
you gotta be on top of your shit.
Yeah.
So when you were filming Vicious Cycle, I just watched your part again yesterday.
Yeah.
You obviously took it seriously because
I tried,
You fucking killed it.
Yeah, I tried.
And the part was dope.
Thank you.
What were your expectations out of that? Were you thinking like, I'm going for it? Like,
I was just looking up to like at that time I was just like so under the influence of like basically like Dill and like Keenan, and like I wanted to go to Flushing and do shit that was NBD. That was it. At that time, my mindset was just I loved seeing Flushing, and I wanted to do NBDs. And I remember being like watching Keenan's part and being like, he flipped the grate. That's crazy. It didn't look fake. Look, no. And find out with Stephen Kalis that nollie flipped the grate in his part, and I was like, damn, that was sick. Like I want to nollie flip it in a line, and wait, if that wasn't fakey, no one's ever fakey flipped it. I want to fakey flip the grate. And I was so under the influence of like that like Girl Chocolate, Dill, 101 trilogy. Like even though trilogy at that time when I moved to New York was a couple years old, I was obsessed with that era. And I was just like, I want to do things at Flushing that hadn't been done. And then just like I was really like my two favorites at that time was Javier Sarmiento and Kenny Reed. And I was just like, if I can take those guys and just move them into one, like kind of be tech on a ledge, do switch with back tails, but then like
very tech.
but like try to be tech, but not too tech.
But also kind of creative.
Yeah, exactly.
And Kenny Reed like tweak when he hits the big ollie.
I just was like under the influence. Yeah, I was just under the influence of those dudes and like Keenan and Dill, and was like, and Dill was in New York at that time, and he was like just we'd see him and hang out, and Dill was just always super cool to us, and was always telling me stories of like trilogy days. I'd be like at Vinny Ponte's like New Year's party, and I'd just be like all ears. He'd be like, Dill said, he's like, I'm the first dude to get footage at Flushing. Fuck out of here. I really was. Look back. And then you look, oh, Dill was.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and so I was definitely like motivated by like, Dill was the first dude to get footage at Flushing. I want to do stuff there and just like skate New York, but like in a way that's tasteful, like how Ryan Hickey and those dudes did skate New York, but step it up a little, but not go overboard and be too tech, and just try to have that like New York flavor with a little bit of tech. And that's just what I was trying to bring to the table, because that was how I could skate. I wasn't skating at Zered's potential or Brian's potential or what they were doing, but I just knew I knew my lane, and I wanted to embrace the lane that I could as like just, somewhat of the underdog, but just being like, I'm going to go hard and I want to do as best as I can. And also having the opportunity to be in a skate video back then. It wasn't like nowadays where you're just like, yo, he's lit. His Instagram's got 80K followers. And then they gave him a video part on Thrasher. Like back then, you got to be green lit. Like I could have kooked it and Pang and all those in New York and been like, Pang would have been like, nah, yo, Z, your boy's a kook.
You would have been ousted.
I could have kooked it, dude. I may have kooked it and they just didn't tell me. But what I'm saying is like back then, you had to be down with a certain group of people that had the distribution level to get your video out there and premiered. And Vicious Cycle was one of the first videos. I still say the first video is fully downloadable on the internet, and it like crashed the server with official New York. Like RB, Brian, Chin, and Zered had to pay the server because it got hit up. Like,
really?
People will still hit me up like, yo, Vicious Cycle was my first video, and like I downloaded it.
I know that video was super. It made a lot of impact.
And
it had a big impact.
Yeah, it was basically produced by Zoo York, but because of music rights back then, Zoo would have got slaughtered by all those people. So we made Triple C Productions, Cape Cod crew, and that's how that all worked out, like music rights. And RB sat me down and was like, "What's your song?" I'm like, "I want to skate to that." And he was like, "That's kind of boring. I got this. It's gonna work with you." And it was me, Vinny, Zered, and I was just like, "Doom." I was like, okay,
was the song? I
boom,
forget.
there you go, perfect. RB, use
what
it.
song?
It was Impeach the President by the Honey Drippers.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's
but it
dope.
had like, and there was a lot of like
Impeach the President.
sampling.
That's dope.
Basically, I wanted to like have like an instrumental because remember when instrumentals, like everyone was skating instrumentals, I was like, oh my God, if I skated to a fucking instrumental. There's Brian Brown almost skated to an instrumental too. Like, God, instrumental. I picked Brian's song too, that Rolling Stones Under My Thumb. I didn't pick my song. I okayed my song. But RB, yeah, RB was just definitely like level. He's always been level-headed. He's just always like, nope, that's cool. Like, you got this. Like, definitely would always stand by you on like, you can do this. He had faith in me as just being like, yo, I was just the ill. Zered was the illest, and I was just the homie that was along for the ride. And I didn't want to be on Zoo because I was Zered's best friend. And like, people back then, like, you could just, he's only on Zoo because he grew up with Zered. And I was just like, at that point, I had that in my head. I always had that in my head. Like, I'm not good enough to be on Zoo, and I don't want to be on Zoo because I'm Zered's friend. So I don't ever want to be on Zoo. They're never going to ask me to be on Zoo. I don't care. I don't want to be on Zoo. And I didn't even really I never really liked Zoo York. I liked Zoo York when it was like Peter Beasy in like 1996 and like weird
mixtape shit.
Yeah, like I liked it. I liked that
that's the
era.
stuff
I
that
liked that
got my
era of
attention.
Zoo. But at the time when Zered was on and like mixtape 2 and what was happening then and Borgox, I was just like, I don't really like care about Zoo, but I like it because they're very supportive of like my friend and me and everybody. So it's like just inherently like I had to just like fuck with Zoo, and they were just like
for sure
juggernaut at that time.
after the video came out. What did anything happen for? Like, what happened? Did anybody?
I mean, I could have skated for small.
Like,
I could have skated for some small brands like Official or Instant Winner that were going on at that time. Well, I was just trying to aim high and shit like that. I was definitely like really trying to aim high. I think like by the time my next video part I was working on, which was this video with this guy Sam Salganic, it was called Lurkers 2, and I took my raw part and I was like, Crooked was just starting. I was like, I'm gonna get on Crooked. This is a funny story. He's kind of in tail with this. This is fucking funny. I think I may have told you this. So I sent my tape to Crooked and was like, I think I might have a chance, dude.
You felt good about it.
Well, because I think Bobby Warist had just got on, and I thought Bobby was the same age as
Shout
me.
out Bobby.
Shout out Bobby Warist. I was like, Bobby and I are almost on the same level. Maybe I could get on. I got hard flip back
I
tails.
see it.
He's got hard flip back tails. Yeah. Little did I know, Bob's 3 years younger than me. So when I was 19, he was 16. So he was a 16-year-old as good as. But Bobby was better than me when he was 16.
Shout out Bobby.
I just look. Bobby's a man, by the way. And then he was on, and then maybe like a month after I sent the tape to Crooked, bro, 415 area code calling my cell phone. I'm like, yeah, I answered. It's Jacob. I was like, he's like, what up, blood? It's Jacob. I'm like, I'm thinking it's like Darren from Deluxe.
Darren from Deluxe.
I'm like, I'm getting on Crooked.
I'm sorry.
But I wasn't.
I think I still have that
just
number.
Like, oh shit, yo, what up? And I think you might have been like coming back out or something.
I always dabbled with New York when I was young.
Yeah, but I never got on Crooked.
Not young, but teenage.
Did anybody ever follow up with you or anything?
None. I never got. The only people after that video came out, the only people that tried to give me, I was definitely a dick about it. Was Brian Chin, who hosted Vicious Cycle on his fucking website. And I got offered to skate for Official, which Rodney Torres was like kind of running the show with Brian on that shit. And I said, I don't want to skate for a website. And because they were turning Official into
what
a
does that
board.
mean?
Because Official New York was a skate website. It was basically like if Quarter Snacks was around back then, and Quarter Snacks started a board company. And I was like, I don't want to skate for a website. Dude, back then, skating for a small board brand was like a nail in the coffin. Once you went to like that mediocre small brand, you were never going to get
come back.
You weren't going to get green. If you skated for clout, you never got green lit to get on like 101. Like it was like it tainted you. And I was like, I don't want to skate for Instant Winner because Billy was like, oh, skate for Instant Winner. I'm trying to think of anybody else that had like really like offered me back then. And I was like, no. I mean, I wasn't like, I was like, oh, I'm okay at skating. I was like, I'm okay. Like I want to skate for Crooked because Mark Gonzalez is the shit. And Crooked was like weird.
I actually see that though.
I really,
now that you say it, it makes sense. It's a good fit.
I really wanted to skate
Mark
for
Gonzalez,
Crooked.
give this guy a call.
I mean, I still film with Sam again, and Sam and Mark are really tight. So Sam's always texting Mark like shit that we're filming. Mark's great, dude. And it's funny because like years went by, and I was just like, no, I'm not gonna skate for any. I almost skated for Traffic. Shout out Rye Manos. We were at Woodward together, and he was a TM for Traffic. And I was like, really like, it was June 07, and I was like, yo, it's been 3 years. Fish Suck came out. I've already put out like another video part. I'm not getting what I want. Fuck it. I'll skate for traffic. And I was literally like going to skate for traffic, and fucking, I was just hanging out with like this dude, Dave Mitchell. They call him Mike, and Jerry Mraz, and Connor Fay, and Pat Smith had just kind of came back to New York, and we were just hanging out in bars, and it was just like, I was just hanging out with the Coda guys, and I was like, it only made sense to like skate for Pat's company at the time, because Pat was kind of like kicked out of skating in a way at that time. Like, he started his company, he was like, I don't want to skate for Five Borough. So Pat was like, he was on Black Label. I don't know what happened with Black Label, 151. So Pat had already been through the industry and was like, kind of like, in some ways, like, fuck the industry, I'm going to do my thing. And I always liked that about Pat, where Pat kind of had like he got to watch his mouth. Pat said this to them.
He was like a snarky guy that got in trouble.
Yeah, and I was
a lot,
kind
right?
of a little bit on that too. Like, I definitely, like, Zered had like sat me down one night and was like, yo, you're not getting on these companies because you got a big mouth.
How did you take that?
It was at Sway at Morrissey night when we were shit-faced, and I was 22, and he was like, you're not. He was just like, it's
when you're young, sorry to interrupt you.
No, it's
when
fine.
you're young, those conversations always happen when you're wasted.
Yeah, Zered just being like, you're good, man.
That's when we're able to communicate as men, as young homies.
Yeah. It's like arm around the shoulder, screaming in my ear with like Morrissey playing in the background. Like, you gotta shut up.
Yeah.
Everyone knows you're good at skating. You don't need to tell people that you're good at skating. Your mouth is fucking you over, and it's what people are telling me. And I'm like, oh, too late now. Might as well just keep running my mouth. I'm fucking 22. Like, I'm not getting on any of these companies. Fuck it. And then I'm going to go skate for Pat Smith's company. He's always talk shit, so fuck it. And that's how, like, that had led up. And I just felt like I was just like, all right. And then it was kind of being more accepted to be like, oh, code is cool, or traffic's dope. And it was okay to, like, in that era, and then 07, 08, to, like, kind of move off to, like, being, you know, in that kind of bracket of skating. And I knew that was my bracket, was like small board thing. But yeah, it would have been nice to get on Crooked. And then pretty much like the week or two, I was like, yeah, I skate for Coda. I'm chilling with Bobby and Sam and Alana, R.I.P.
Oh shit.
Alana was kind of TMing Crooked at that time.
She was.
She was. And we were all chilling, and they were just like, Bobby and Mark wasn't there, but it was like Alana and Sam and Bobby were just like, why didn't you just skate for Crooked? And I'm like, the whole reason for me holding out for years to not skate for a company that I didn't want to skate for is because I didn't want to leave that and be the dude that left a company to go skate for something bigger. And now that I've dedicated myself to Coda, what am I going to go? Leave this to go be Flow for Crooked because we're all psyched and drinking together? Like, nah. It ain't happening. I'm not getting on Crooked. It would be great. You guys are hyping it up, but, like, it ain't happening. And then, like, Bobby and Alana and Sam, that night we all went to, like, the Coda premiere at this bar, Savalas and shit. And, like Alana was just like, I think you should skate for Crooked. And I'm like, I can't get on. You guys are all hyping me up. It ain't happening.
I would have been like, call me tomorrow when you're sober.
Yeah, no, exactly. But it was,
Ask me then.
That was a fun era of, like, that was a fun era of New York, like.
So how long were you on Coda then?
3 years, like June 2007 to like October 2010. And I went from like skating a bunch. You got to pee? Nice. I'll probably be doing that sometime soon too. But I've been known to hold my pee for a long time. And it was like, what are you saying, 07? What was it like? What was the question again? Sorry, I spaced.
I said, how long were you on Coda?
Oh, 3 years. I went from like skating a lot and being psyched on skating to being, I would say, salty and bitter about skating and letting like alcohol like exacerbate that bitterness, I would say. And then I'd say like around 2010, like I don't know. I was drinking a lot. Like what most like 26, 27-year-old skateboarders do.
I did the same thing.
They don't fucking sober up. You get you're like, yo, I put in mad work. I put out 4 video parts and all this shit. And then like I shot this huge fucking article with Jay Strickland for Skatebook. And I was like, dude, this is sick. I just put out my Green Diamond part. I have my 4th video part. It was like 2009. And Jay was like, yo, I'm the assistant editor-in-chief under Ballard, Mike Ballard at Skatebook. And he's like, I'm getting, like, there was like the Lance Mountain issue. There was like, Skatebook was so dope, dude. It was literally,
I remember that.
It was literally one of the dopest printed publications that skateboarding had ever had. And Jay was like, we're working on this. I'm getting the Jay Strickland issue. Chapter 1's going to be like Baker Bootleg, Birdhouse, The End, Greco, Reynolds. Chapter 2, I'm giving you a chapter. And I was just like,
dope.
Holy shit. So Jay and I went out so fucking hard. No camera. Just Jay Strickland shooting photos. And we went so hard. I did so many fucking tricks that didn't get filmed. And I put in all this work, and Jay was like, couple months later, and Jay and I had a falling out for a few years, dude. Like, he was
prior to that,
Jay was gonna fucking kick my fucking ass, and I couldn't go to Philly because of it. Like, you go to Philly, you're gonna get your ass kicked. Like, just over dumb, cocky shit that I was doing, and trying to like put my foot down to Jay and dudes in Philly, and like Jay was like, "You're barred from skating. You're done," and I was like, "Oh." Damn. Fuck. And this is before
you do that?
Jay had a lot of power in skating back then, like post bootleg, and I didn't, and it was stupid of me being on his bad side. But then we squashed it one day at a party at Milk Studios, and he was like, "Yo, homie, I'm working on some shit, and you got to be down with it." We put in all this work. Skatebook got sued by Fox for the Bart Simpson issue.
What?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
The Bart, that issue is probably worth a couple $100 now. And then
I was just going to say I want to see that.
But what happened was Jay took all that, which was supposed to be the Jay Strickland issue for Skatebook, which was going to be the next issue, and then he made his own coffee table book called Shoot to Kill. Jay had came to my hometown, shot all my childhood skate spots, the dude that got me into skating, all this shit, and it was like. Dude, it was cool. It was heartbreaking for me to know that it was essentially in a way my 5th video part just got like shelved, and at that time it was like 2010. Kind of had a falling out with a friend who I was filming with, and I was just like, fuck him and fuck skating. And then people were moving to New York that I was just not co-signing at all, and getting love from like Thrasher and Slap and shit. And I was just like, New York skating sucks. These dudes are getting like. This is how they're going to represent New York City skating? Shit's whack. And I just was like, skate, art, graffiti, drinking. My lady was bartending. All the homies were like bartending. And when you're in your 20s, you just kind of like, when you get salty and bitter about skating, not getting what you want, you just take it out on alcohol and like.
Oh, yeah.
It's easy to do that.
But you've clearly let that go. I mean, now that you can verbalize it and express it, obviously, it's been a while. That was a long time ago.
It was it was like 2010. I was getting sauced, and Pat and I had a conversation. Pat Smith and I were playing phone tag for like 3 weeks, maybe a month, and we finally caught each other. And he was living in Portland, I was living in New York. It was October. I was about to go to France, and I was going to Europe for the first time, and I was like asking, like, oh, I get boards, whatever, and like I had. Try to get some more graphics done because I had done a couple graphics for Coda and wanted to get more, and they weren't getting done. And then this graphic that I wanted to have done wasn't getting done the way I wanted to. And Pat and I just weren't. I don't think we were seeing eye to eye. Like, I couldn't art direct his brand, and I was just like, he was like, I feel like you're only skating for me for like free boards, and I was just like.
You're like,
yeah. I am. And he was like, well, and I'm thinking, like, I didn't, there was no rebuttal. I was like, well, isn't that the whole point of any company is to skate for like free boards or whatever? So I was just like, yeah, no, it's okay. And it was just like such a mutual thing between Pat and I. I was like, yeah, I'm just going to part ways. And then I went to Bordeaux the next day and met that guy, Leo Valls, and was like,
that dude's sick.
Should I skate for Magenta? Like, Magenta was just started. Should I try to get on Magenta? And then I was like, I'm 27. I'm washed. I got back from France. Was like, I'm washed. And just got boards from random people, like whoever I was around. Yeah. Like if someone was like, oh, you don't skate for Coda, I'll give you some boards. And like there was a company called Open that gave me boards. The guy was super nice. And then like Stefan Janowski was living like right over here. And I was skating with John Newport a lot. And Stefan gave me a bunch of Habitat boards. And then I really wanted to skate for Hops. That was like that was like how in 04 when I really wanted to skate for Crooked, 2010 I really wanted to skate for Hops and was like, hey Jamal, like maybe like kind of how I did these graphics with Coda, but maybe something for Hops. And it was like barely entertained. It was just like see Jamal at like House of Vans and be like, yo, what up? Like maybe and then like bought like a Hops jacket and bought some Hops boards. And like I think I went to San Francisco when I saw you in early 11. And the day before I went out to San Francisco, a friend of mine, Tyler May, called me and was like, hey, I'm not doing my clothing company anymore, but I want to start a board company. I want you to skate for it. And I was just like, well, why don't I just go 50-50 with you? He was like, yeah, okay. And I was like, what's the name? He's like, Iron Claw. I was like, isn't that your DJ name? He was like, well, yeah, but it's going to be a skate company. And I was like, okay, so your DJ name is now the skate company.
Say it, like right away.
Yeah,
like,
and you know Tyler, Death Traders and shit like that. And I was never cool. I was never like, oh, I love the name. But I was like, let me find my meaning in the name of Iron Claw Skates. And then I just went in with him, and he was doing a lot of the graphic design for the first like 5 years. And then I did a couple graphics, and now he's got his tattoo shop upstate, and we've like basically fizzled the brand. We're doing one more run. We're going to turn everyone pro. And then I'm just like, I had the company for 10 years. I'm like, I never tried to be Polar. I never tried to be Palace. I never wanted to be like a big board brand. I just wanted to have boards and hook up kids I thought were rad. Now all those kids are adults. They're my age when I started Iron Claw. I don't want to do another company, but I'm definitely not going to be like, yo, Zered, Price, can you guys give me boards? I'm just going to go and I'm going to have my art, put it on a board and get 50 made, and if people want to buy it,
well, I respect the fact that you, when he approached you to do the company, you were like, you came at it from a more adult level because you're like, you know what, let me actually be a part owner of this with you as opposed to skating for the brand because I'm really big on
no one was doing brands back then. There wasn't like a thing. There wasn't like, ooh, let's start a company. Like it was like, oh shit. Like like Palace, there was rumblings. Yeah. Like Polar hadn't even put out their little no comply fucking preview promo video yet. So it was like in that era of like starting a company. Billy Rohan definitely had some good words for me though. He's just like, here's Glenn's number, here's Greg Chapman's number, call them.
And a lot of skaters get stuck in the identity of being a pro skater, and that's a hard thing to break away from. Yeah. So, you know, you get, like I said, you get stuck in that identity, and you think getting the next board sponsor is kind of an enabler and to not like figure your shit out. Yes. Because you're like, oh, cool, these dudes are going to give me boards and pay me a little bit of money for the next 3 years, and then it's over. And those 3 years that you could have been figuring out what you're going to do for the rest of your life.
You could have still been building.
And I was never pro for Coda. I just designed a couple boards. I never had my name on a board. And I was like, I'm going to start a company, and I am not going to put my name on the board, but it's going to be my company. And then just like, I don't want to turn myself pro because I find that shit highly corny, and I still find it highly corny, even though people do it all the time. But I was just looking at it like, let's just keep it small. I just want it to be small and manageable. And if I wanted to turn it into a real company, I kind of had an investor chance with some people. I don't want to name names, but it just didn't feel right. And and then like.
So you don't have a board on the brand?
I never have. But all the graphics for all the kids I've sponsored for the last 10 years, I'm going to just turn all them pro and be like, company's done, figure it out.
I like the shop you had where you were selling them.
Oh, my little.
It was dope.
Yeah,
dude.
I had a little hole in the wall skate shop in Bushwick by like Myrtle Broadway for like 6, 7, 8 months maybe. It was like a pop up, and then we're just like, yo, we wanted to do it like LA Days where skaters like Zered or Cyrus could just like slang their like Nikes and Converse and boards that they don't need, and then for cheap, and then we'll sell it for cheap. So I had that going for a while, but like being in a skate shop in January,
rough.
No,
I remember the DQM days. Yeah, it's rough.
Damn. Just being in New York.
Yeah. No,
I thought about that the other day.
What was the name of the shop?
It was called Rollgate Skates because we had it. And it was just like a pull down, and no, it was fun. Like, but like my partner was living in the city, and we just. It's like it's hard to do a company all on your own, and then just trying to like also do a company with someone who's not like that. You can just go to their crib and just and like put ideas together, and like he was Tyler so focused on his tattoo career, and I'm pretty focused on my artwork that it was like, yo, we're both not putting in the effort into this, and like,
but it's still going, right?
Yeah, we're still going, but it's like we're definitely like on the like tail end of like, hey, we did our 10 years, like just give these kids a name with their board on it, and like, yo, shout out to like Corey Biddle, Kennedy Cantrell, Daniel Stone, and Phil Rodriguez. Like, dude, these kids skated for just like my like stupid small company for like 10 years. And like Daniel was so talented. He could have been on fucking Toy Machine. Like, he's an unbelievable skater. And like, just like, hey, you guys fucking repped me for 10 years. Like, it's just one of those things, like, make some pro boards. They can have them at the shops that they're localized at, and like for the wall. And then like Corey's so down with Bust Crew, and Phil's like a bronze kid, and like Kennedy's in LA, and Daniel's doing his thing. Everyone's kind of like grown up a little bit. And Lance Mountain had said some shit that resonated with me so hard about when he did The Firm. And he was just like, I was getting older and I just needed to focus back on me. I couldn't like worry about if Rodrigo or Yanni or these dudes. I just needed to focus back on me. I was getting older and I need to like get back onto me. And I realized like Tyler's focused on him. I need to focus on my artwork, and I can still skate. And if I want to do something after Iron Claw, like, yeah, I can keep it just as small, or just like go organically, make boards. People like it, they can buy it. If not, I don't care. I'm just going to make boards for myself with my artwork on it. And yeah, and just like get all the homies turning pro, and then just dissolve the brand and say it was a great 10 years. Because company life is almost 10 years, because the generational turnover now, it's like, someone who's 25 who grew up like, I love Polar Skate Co. now is like, I don't really like polar pants.
They're like, that's old school shit.
Yeah, and they're like, I'm into this now, or I'm into that now. And like, Mike and Rick with Girl, like, you get through your 20 years and then you're like, identity crisis, we got to get these kids into these kids. It's so hard to like, once you hit 30 years as a company, I think it's like, then you're kind of like Black Label, you're just around. Yeah. You're just there. Like, if you've been here for 30, bro, like
an
no
Indy, Santa Cruz.
Yeah, you're just there. Like, it's just respect. You're stuck in business.
Wealth.
Like
Hashtag
You're
wealth.
like a Converse.
Yeah. So, I just like,
or Adidas shell toe or
yeah,
something.
and now like
Like it'll build itself.
But like, yeah, I'm just trying to skate to the highest potential that I can still skate at my age at 38. And if there was a company that I was stoked on that was like, yo, we want to like give you boards now. Well, I heard you're not doing a company. I'd be like, you want to fuck with me? That's kind of honestly the only company I'm really honestly psyched on outside of like, so what's on my company that I don't even really care about, but I like Sour.
Sour's dope.
Yeah.
And all those dudes are really good.
I just like, that's just what I personally like is Sour.
Very creative skater.
Creative skating. They don't go overboard with their graphics. They don't try to overthink shit. Put some dumb shit on a board. Like, the graphics don't always speak for how rad that company is, but the skating speaks for itself. And back in the day, he's a Euro. People always shit on Europeans, and I just like think like some of those Swedish and those Scandinavian type skaters are some of the most creative skaters that we got, and like that's just what I like is just trying to skate like I'm on Sour but in New York City, and that's just like what I like in skating right now.
Yeah, you talked a little bit earlier about like you getting in trouble for your mouth, I guess. And your opinions. But I don't want to go. I know you've spoken about this before a lot, but like the 1 in a million thing, they actually asked you to be on that.
Yeah, Alex wanted me on it because
of that reason, right?
Yeah.
What exactly was the 1 in a million thing, and what did they try to do, and like how did that whole thing go down?
Well, first off, I think that show could come back now, 10 years later, and if it was produced properly, like season 1, it could be a hit.
So it was like a skateboard reality show.
Yeah, it was like basically, I think like 1 in a million had gone on since like maybe like 2003, 2004. There was like, I think the first kid that won was kid Eric Ostos, and then Kevin Coakley won, Tom Karangalov won. There was dudes that won, but then like Mark Whiteley turned it into like Top Chef kind of.
What channel was it on?
It was
or like,
on
where
Slap's
would you
YouTube.
Oh.
So, and it was great, bro. Everyone was watching that shit.
For those
Forrest
that don't
Edwards,
know,
shit was amazing, dude. I'm sorry. Like, Whiteley put out some cool shit, and everyone loved Forrest Edwards. And I think when season 2 was getting in the works, I think Whiteley had gone to Nike from Slap, and Slap like was basically like in a weird position where it was like, the internet's exploding. We need to be a part of this. And Alex got hired on, and Alex had done like
Alex Klein
had produced things before.
He did documentaries of like surfing
Israeli
in Gaza and
surfing
stuff,
in the Gaza Strip and whatnot. So I was like, okay, Alex is doing it. Word. And Alex called me. I answered. Oh, what's up? Alex and I spoke, and I was like, I'm down. And then as things started like a little bit more progressing towards like the day of, like I saw Alex was like really wanted it to be like a reality show, and the kids were not having it. And I wasn't really having it, but I didn't really want to put my foot down that hard. And I just kind of was like.
But so just to be clear with anybody that's watching, they invited you on the show.
They invited me
to be the bad guy.
The Simon Cowell fucking of the show. John Cardiel was supposed to host it. Steve Rodriguez judge, Ronnie Torres judge. Steve's an OG, Rodney's an OG. Damn. I'm the mean guy.
You were a judge also.
Yeah, I was a judge. Rodney was a nice guy. Steve was a realist. Cardiel was supposed to host. Cardiel was in town for a bunch of days, and then the first day, I think like Cardiel was like maybe a little late, or he was just like, Alex was like, yo, Cardiel's backing out. You kind of got to be the host. And I was like, yeah, I can talk. I don't mind like looking at camera, being on camera.
That could have been your big break right there.
Could have been my big break.
Been your big
except
break.
Every 12 to 18-year-old hated my guts because I broke the best kids board first. Matt Militano should have won the show, and Alex created this high ollie contest on the first episode. It was like, we're going to throw a stick in the spokes. We're going to throw a rock in the gears. Elimination challenge, pack your knives, high ollie. And I was just like, in the back room, I was like, Alex, this isn't a good idea. I think we should just do like maybe a best trick on my weird Vans waffle cruiser board, and the best guy gets like immunity or something. He was like, no. The dude who loses the high ollie contest gets his board focused,
regardless of
and goes
everything
home.
else he's ever done, regardless of how good
Matt
of a skater
Militano
he is.
was definitely the most skilled, talented dude out of all of them, and we all knew he didn't have that much pop, and it was heartbreaking to see him lose. And it was like, obviously, like Alex is like, you're gonna be the bad guy, you're gonna break the board, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't break the board, I couldn't focus it, and of course caught a lot of shit for that, which is how many skaters can't focus a board all the time.
It's an acquired
Yeah,
skill.
yeah. So whatever.
I wish I didn't have that.
2 things, 3 things lead on to another, and then at this point, the kids, like a couple days in, the kids are like, we're not feeling it, and they're like hollering at me, and Alex hollering at me, like, yo, the kids are being like very, like combative. You got to come through and convince them to. They just lowered the flies, the whole shit, and Alex just packed up his laptop and just fucking said, fuck it. And was like, Jamie Thomas was supposed to sponsor the winner for Zero. And was like, I was drinking at the time. We were staying up till like 4 a.m. with all the kids partying, smoking weed, like just raging at House of Vans. And like Alex was just like, Lou's partying with all the guys. He's like a bad influence. And like Alex and I have spoken like lightweight. We've only seen each other once since all of this. And like, I don't really have any like hard feelings on Alex, but I definitely got like production-wise got pointed as being like, I ruined this fake show.
But you did what the producer told you to do.
I did what Alex wanted me to do. And also on this, at that point, I couldn't put my foot down and be like, yo, don't do this, don't do that. This is Alex's show. Alex is trying to pitch this to get it to be on Fuel or Fuse or one of those stations. And I was along for the ride. I made $300 and got a Thrasher sweatshirt. So all these people who said I was a sellout, I got a $300 check from High Voltage. Tony Vitello promised me a Thrasher canvas. The guy who runs Canvas, Thrasher, I'm going to say this because I don't care if Thrasher blackbarred me anyways. They never gave me a canvas, which I was promised because the guy said that my work was too conceptual or the work was done on skateboard decks and they don't want to push that. So for 1 in a million, all I got was $300 and a flaming Thrasher hoodie.
Those are hot right now.
They're hot now, but in 2011, a light Coach Gray flaming Thrasher hoodie was not a good look. And that's all I got out of 1 in a million.
Fashion.
But you know what? Shout out if anyone that's out. I think that show could come back. And there's times I was like, if I could go back and redo it, I would have never done it. Like I say that in my head, but I'm like, I guess I was brought to the public. I was brought to like a lot of people who would never have heard about me. Who's like, well, this dude he's a prick, but he's actually good at skating or whatever. I hate this guy. He's fat. He's bald. Anything out of the world. Death threats. The whole nine.
I was reading the comments though. You had a lot of support.
I had a lot of support from people who
were
were like,
he's actually really cool.
Yeah, he's actually really cool, dude.
Life.
He's actually really cool, dude. He's just like, blah, 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 blah. So at the end of it now, I look back and I'm like, yo, like, dude, Slap should just ride channels done, which put it up. Slap's like kind of around, but sort of, but like it could come back if it was done well. And if they nitpicked great skaters that have personalities, like it could be done again. But it was just like, I feel like it just went so sour that season. And Alex was like, I want nothing to do with it. And shit just got so weird that I was just like, fuck all that. And no one ever came up to me in person was like maybe randomly after they got to know me, like in this type of situation, like, oh, so what actually happened? But like, yeah, for the most part, it was just like, it didn't go that way. The kids hated it. They rebelled. Alex was like, fuck this, and walked away. And Jamie Thomas was like, I'm not sponsoring anybody. Nobody wins. And from what I heard, I got nothing but respect for Jamie Thomas.
Yeah, no, he's the man.
Whatever anyone could ever say about that guy, fuck that. That dude's done mad shit in skating.
For sure.
And I guess like I kind of was like I was a bad influence on the kids at that time. I was drinking a lot, and we were just like raging. And yeah, if people would say that.
To your credit, you were doing what all skaters were doing.
What all skaters do. And all those kids, they loved me. We'd sit down after focusing their boards, and we'd sit down and just hang out and just like have the best night till like 4 a.m, hanging out with all those kids. It was great. So that's really what that was.
I feel like with this guy, if you don't understand him or if you don't really know him in person, you can like think.
It's easy to judge anybody. I'll be like, oh God, I can't stand that guy. And then you meet him and you're like, dude, he's not that bad.
Who else are some? Who else are some famously or opinionated skaters? I was thinking Ricky Oil obviously comes to mind.
Yeah,
he's a nice guy, but he kind of has that same reputation as well.
Oh yeah, I mean
maybe Bobby Pulio or something.
And both of those guys, I gotta pee real quick, but both of those dudes, we've definitely like gotten into arguments with each other. I don't have any hard feelings towards either. Ricky, respect. Bobby, respect. But I just think we don't see eye to eye because we're all outspoken. I'm gonna go pee. Be back in 1 minute.
Pee break.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe some of the anti-hero guys are kind of like that as well.
Yeah, I feel like a lot.
Julian kind of has that vibe.
Oh yeah.
Where people are like, that guy's a dick.
Yeah.
But he's pretty nice.
Yeah. There's a lot of people that are like cool.
Depending on the day.
They just are not good with dealing with tons of people they don't know, talking to them. You know what I mean? Like, I've definitely met people that when I met them, like at a dinner and it was one-on-one, like they were off the hook. But I've met them like out and about at an event, and they like treat me like they're a bartender or something. You know what I mean? Like, just like.
Oh, you mean kind of like
never lock eyes with you, never try to like say what's up. You know what I'm saying? Like, just like.
Well, it's very common that skaters are antisocial, right?
Yeah. I feel like. I'm antisocial,
He's
but I'm
antisocial.
super
Don't hold it
social
against
too.
him.
Yeah, you know, it's like it's weird, but it's all good though. We're here.
Oh yeah.
You know, like it all seems to.
No, you're good. You're good.
So yeah, opinions. I don't know. I've been told to like, oh, he's so opinionated, but everybody in skateboarding is opinionated. They're just too scared to say it. And then nowadays, people are definitely, truly scared to say what they feel about other people in skateboarding.
You can't.
You can't. But if you're an industry juggernaut, you know, behind those closed doors, they're blackbarring dudes from skating still to this day off of dumb shit.
For sure.
Why dudes can't be green lit in the industry.
Yeah.
And you know what? The industry's made of a bunch of dudes that were never really that good at skating, that never really made it, and they're still salty and bitter about shit. And now they get to puppeteer all of it. Real talk, man. Who's out there who's really running, who is like, oh, he was the legend. Like all these legends that were the illest in skating, like their companies really never really like panned out to be that dope. Like Guy and Costin Numbers, that shit's gone. Like, I mean, like Mike and Rick were ill at skating, and like Girl and Chocolate.
I think Huff did a great job of that.
Huff.
He did a great
I
job
mean,
of being a ripper.
God bless
who,
Huff.
and seamlessly, organically, like the shop to the brand to like this massiveness. Like he did it in such a right. He did his path of what he was doing was so driven and the right direction. There was never anything like really like whack that Huff ever did. Like the brand, the human, anything. It was just
It's
like
true.
it was just it was all great. But like there are politics of why dudes like skated for Huff and not Nike and not Adidas because there wasn't like. I mean, I feel like Keith really showed a lot of respect to people that like some people in like big shoe brands aren't reaching out to like that shit. And that's why I still like, don't get me wrong, like I've skated in Nikes and Adidas and whatever, and we're on Vans and stuff. And Vans is like, as much as it is a real skate shoe brand, but I still like gotta take my hat off to companies like Lakai and S. Mike, Rick, Don Brown, what else? I mean, I don't know about State Footwear or whatever else is out there, but yeah, I mean, I'll speak on that shit. That shit's dope that those companies are still around.
For sure.
Like, I have much respect for any of that. Not to say I hate any of the juggernauts in the sneaker industry or anything like that, but it's just, yeah, the industry's weird. I don't really care for it. Like, it never accepted me because I spoke my mind. I guess I should have just been like, kept my mouth shut and just stayed more in my lane and then got an industry job so I could puppeteer and control who gets on what company.
Can I ask, is Action cool right now?
Action footwear.
Because it used to be cool when I was younger.
Action was,
I see
well,
it's still
Plan B was
around,
cool
kinda.
too. Plan B was cool when I was a kid and Action was cool, but like, I mean.
I think it's a different owner now.
Yeah, I mean, Kareem
has something to do with
Kareem's got something to do with it. I respect,
Okay.
but I mean, I respect Kareem. Kareem's a fucking G. He's a legend. So, Action, I don't know, skate shoe brands when they come back and then they start up again. I mean, S did it, but they did it in a different way. You know what I mean? Like, things are weird. Etnies kind of went away, and then America happened, then Etnies came back, and then like, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of companies that are around and then they dip and then they come back. I'm just not into that.
Yeah, like why'd you dip? Why'd you leave us?
Well, I know why companies. I understand why companies like they're not turning a profit. But when you get requests like Creature ends up like flopping and then they come back and be one of the highest selling brands in skateboarding. Like Creature's a prime example of like I don't care for Creature, but they did it and they run the shit and it's fucking making money and it's cool that there's people that love Creature.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to
Creature.
look into that.
Yeah.
That's
So-
kind of a trip.
So yeah, sometimes it works, but I don't really care for that. And everyone's opinionated. They just like
Sure.
yeah. And nowadays, yeah, it's scary. Like, oh, don't say that about that. Or if everyone knows like they're not that good at skating, but they're on the company, and no one wants to say that they're only on the company because of this. It's like, oh, they're done, blacklisted. You're gone. You can't even mention it. But behind closed doors, people are all hating on each other still. Like,
True.
Prime example, Weck and Ted Barrow. All they did was hate on people. People loved it. There's still that thing inside of people that want to go to those hater Instagrams shit and just like, oh, did you see that? They were talking shit. Like it's human nature
of course.
to want to be like that.
Because a lot of people want to say that, but I feel like they're saying that for them.
Yeah.
And they want to be part of the tap in and be
Or like they're scared they'll lose their job, or
Yeah.
they'll get like kicked out of skating, or they'll be blacklisted or whatever. But or people do it because like people are like, oh, you make fun of people or you say this because people are insecure. Like everyone is insecure about something in some way about themselves. So
Oh, for sure. Let's. I want to talk about you've been skating a lot of rocks lately.
oh, I love it. Yeah, yeah, I love it.
Like actual rocks, stones.
Yeah. I mean,
boulders.
oh yeah.
I just
Yeah.
I'm super fascinated by like rocks and geology, and like I always thought those things were cool when like there's concrete and there's a rock poking out of it. It's just like they've always looked cool to me in skating. Like they just, and people have always kind of like tapped in and like wallied off them or something like that. But I just like over the last 2 years with stone carving and being into rocks and geology and just knowing like how New York is laid out and the the people that got to build New York City parks between like 2007 and like '07 to like 2000, like maybe 17. It was a 10-year span. Like these contractors got like put in and they just built like really cool stuff. Maybe like, no, I'm wrong. It's like 98, 99 to like in the like mid 2010s, these contractors, and they put a lot of rocks in the ground, and like I just wanted to have like be synonymous with my sculpture and my skateboarding. Like I carve rocks, I skate stone, I carve stone. Like having like my artwork and my skating really become more embedded with each other, and that's my main reason for wanting to do it. And also too, like I'm always trying to look for new spots in New York and new things, and I just felt like that game, there's like a level of skating that's not really tapped into, and if you don't figure out how to really whiff and bonk off of rocks, it's kind of like a little magic trick, like unlocking how to bonk off air off coping. And once I figure out how to unlock it and shove and spin and twist, I just was like, oh, this is mad fun. And they're all different. You're going to go to a ledge. It's going to be the same height as that ledge. It's going to be a little bit like rounded than the other ledge, but it's still like a ledge. Every rock I go to is different trajectory, different line. Oh, you can go from this one to this one. Oh, this got put in 2010. Oh, they just built this in 2020. Like, and like knowing rocks are like millions and millions of years, 400 million, 550 million years old. All that's just like, dude, these things have been here before us. They're going to be here after us. And just really like.
It's like respecting.
And I don't like skating man-made shit. Like, I don't like skating things that are made for skating. I don't even like skating things that oh, it's a hubba or it's a rail or it's a ledge, like that wasn't intended for skating. I don't even like that.
Put some thought into it.
I want to skate something that's like so off, like that's you're like, people would just show up to and just be like, oh, rock fakie the rock, or I'll wally the rock. I'm like, no, dude, I could like nollie 270 bonk and like transfer into that one, or I could shove off of that one. So I usually just sit at a rock spot. I not sit like it's in the Noguchi Museum, and I'm like, but I go there and I'm like, I don't know, dude. I don't think I got anything here. And then I'm like, oh, maybe I could whack off that one. I'll go off that, and I'll just like tell my friends like, yo, just chill, just let me. I need to just like soak it in, and I'm gonna get something here. I usually, very, very, very rarely do I leave a skate spot, a rock spot, without getting something, whether it's story post, hard post, soft post, or saving for my next part. So they're just different, they're unique, and they always like produce a new trick. Like that rock did this trick because it shot me off that way. So. And just like, I think it's just like, I've always like thought it was cool when people skate rocks, but now I'm just like beyond obsessed with it. Yeah. And I'm just like, like people are like, oh, you like day one? It's like, I don't like day one. What do you don't like day one? People who don't like day one are like people who
day one shit.
Yeah, I'm on a little day one. I'm on a little day one. I'm just like,
no, you're on your own shit.
I'm on my own shit, but I'm like, I'm definitely
you're
like,
on your own shit.
I'm under the influence of like,
you're on that Lurker Lou shit.
I'm on my shit. I'm just like, I don't want to be around skaters. I don't want to be. Sometimes like, I mean, yeah, you guys are skaters, but I don't want to go to a skate park. They're homogenized. Skate parks were built in the 70s to keep us out of the streets. We all know it. There's millions of dollars pumped into them. Millions of dollars pumped into these things that are cultural dead zones. I don't want to go be surrounded by my own people. That's why I left Cape Cod. I want to be around a bunch of fucking normal ass. I saw your father. He's got cancer. Massachusetts shit. I want to go to places where it's not all white people. I don't want to be in a fucking skate park. Sorry for the bad language, but I don't want to be in a skate park surrounded by a bunch of skaters skating stuff that was made to skate. And then you go down the street to the little spot that everyone hits, and the whole neighborhood is pissed off because we built you a skate park, and you're going here and you're destroying that. So I want to go away from the park, and I want to have interactions with human beings that aren't skateboarders. Someone comes up and goes, "Oh, that's really cool. You're skating these rocks," and I'm like, no, sure. I'm just go to every city, New York City park. I do my research, and then I have a conversation with someone who has nothing, no idea about skating or rocks, but then they put me on to a good restaurant or told me the history of the neighborhood or that building. I love being out in the streets and having interactions with non-skateboarders.
And not only are you skating rocks, you're making art out of rocks.
Making art out of
before
rocks.
Before we run on, I think it's a big topic.
Yeah, we can spend the next 22 minutes.
Yeah, we can spend 20 minutes talking about your artwork. Because,
Can I ask one question before?
Yeah, go ahead.
Just real quick. Do you notice the different pop you get off of different types of rocks? That's it.
Yeah. Oh, completely. I can transition quite easily into like skate, stone. The reason like why like Borough Hall, everyone likes that ground is because that granite, the consistency of that granite is so hard and so tight. Throw a tennis ball at cement ground. Throw a tennis ball on a granite ground. That tennis ball is going to go up 10 feet higher. Snap your board off of skate park cement at House of Vans. It's going to snap it off granite. It's going to pop higher. Granite's a harder stone. Marble is soft. Everyone thinks they're skating marble. All these buttery marble plazas all over China. Brown marble, granite. Blubba, granite. All these things that all you skaters out here are calling marble.
You hear that? It's
You're
not
wrong.
marble.
Big Screen Plaza, 29th and 6th Ave. It's called tapestry granite. It's swirled. It looks like marble. If that was marble, you guys would have destroyed that spot already. There's no way that marble can skate like that. I carve it. I carve granite. I carve marble. Marble, I can almost chew on it. It's so soft. Granite will, it's immensely, like the difference between granite and marble is huge. Like, and when
But
I
how
was,
did you? Sorry, go ahead.
I was saying when I was in Greece 2 years ago, I was getting pins from Connor Peterson, and he would be like, that ledge, it's there, but it's like really chunky and like soft. And I was like, yeah, it's fucking marble, dude. Like marble sucks to skate. Skaters never know that. And Connor was like, oh, damn, marble, because Connor was giving me a bunch of pins when I was in Greece. And then after seeing like all these skate spots in Greece and being like, these marble ledges actually suck. And then learning more about stone, seeing Acropolis, the Parthenon, understanding life is very short. We're all here. Everyone's a dust speck, dust to dust, ash to ashes. Like seeing my insignificance in like not saying, oh, I'm insignificant, but I'm just a little tiny speck in this multitude of like crazy spinning earth that's been going on for millions of years. And I was just like, I just want to. I've been making art and doing things since I was about like 18, 19. I just wanted to make stuff that was going to last. And knowing how much our relationship has been embedded as skateboarders with stone, it just became the perfect medium to work with because we're always riding and grinding on it. And I'm like, why has that lasted longer? This ledge has been like this since like that CIA ledge downtown people skate. It's like by like, it's downtown. That ledge is still mad sharp because it's a really tight grain, dark, consistent granite. And it's just, people look at it and they don't think it's granite because they think granite's like speckly, but granite comes in all
Well, how
different.
did you learn about all this? Did you teach yourself, or
I
did
taught
you?
myself a little bit. My brother is a stonemason. He's a classic like stonemason. He does like old New England, like England style, like dry laid walls. So my brother's a waller, and he builds a lot of his walls without mortar. So it's like you gotta find your stones and perfectly lay them out. And he's been doing that since he was like in his early 20s in landscape mason.
So he's a stoner.
My brother's a stoner. Technically, he's a stoner. He's a waller. Well, he's actually, in the world of masonry, he would be a waller, dry-laid waller. He builds all types of shit. He does walkways, cobblestones, all that shit. So maybe a year before I went to Greece, my dad gave me some marble, and I was like, I'm going to carve a sneaker out of this someday. I will carve a
But
sneaker.
you didn't know how to do it.
Didn't know anything. Didn't know anything. My dad gave me a... Out of stone, 3, I think, like that. I did 3, and I was like, I got this marble. My dad had it, and I was like, I'm gonna carve a sneaker out of it someday. And that was in December 2018, and my brother was like, "Good luck." Because he knows. He's like, "Good luck, dude." And I was like having the conversation. I think my stepmom chimed in. And she was like, well, did Michelangelo have power tools? And I was like, oh, my God. We're like, no. And my stepmom and I started having a conversation. She was like, you know what the best stuff? And I didn't know shit about stonework. I didn't really know fucking anything about Michelangelo. She was like, the unfinished work. The stuff that's not done. That's like, because you see how hard it was to make. When it's really refined and perfect, you're like, oh, well, you're just kind of like pedestrian.
You don't understand the process.
And the things that really were like evoking to me was like in Athens, seeing like sculptures that were broken. I was like, whoa, that looks cool, or unfinished work. And then knowing like that ledge sucks, it chips, but it probably will cut easy. So once I realized, like, okay, marble's soft and this, came back from Greece, and then COVID happened, and I was like, I'm going to get out of New York. I got 2 dogs. I don't want to be stuck in an apartment. I want to keep my apartment in New York, so I need to work, and there's no photo shoot. So, hey, Dad, can I come up and landscape? So I went up in March 2020 to Massachusetts, started landscaping so I could still pay the rent in New York, and then I'm bored. Which it's weird to be bored as an adult, but I had this idea. I've done a lot of sculpture over the years with like growing different things into trees, like wheels and trucks, and I've had this arbor sculpture body of
Underwear.
work.
I want to talk about the underwear.
Oh, well, yeah. I got a whole little slew of things that I worked on post that, but I really was like, I'm going to drill a hole in a rock. I'm going to put it in a tree, and I want that to be a sculpture. Was like a branch coming through a stone and then wrapping around it and then cut that down in like 8 years, and that's a sculpture. That's where my brain was drill a hole in a rock. And I got to Home Depot, and I'm looking at diamond hole saws, and it said 51 millimeters on it. And I went, we're in lockdown. We're in lockdown. No one can do anything. The skate parks are closed. Everyone has to stay home. I barely got into this Home Depot. Why don't I go drill a hole in a rock and pop a wheel in it? And that justifies like lockdown to me, is like locking a wheel in this stone. And at that point I was like, oh, the simplicity, the beauty of it. And that's what got me in, was like starting small with stone carving. You don't start like thinking you're going to be carving. Sure. Like I know one guy that started out and did some crazy shit for his first go, but I just started like drill a hole in a rock, put a wheel in it, drill a hole in a rock, put a bearing in it, make it look like a Flintstone wheel. Why don't I try to refine it and actually carve the stone to look like a wheel? And then it just went from this to this to this to this. Like, why don't I make a board? And my brother was basically just like, get this, get this, get this. Here's all my chisels. I don't use them. Here's my hammers. I don't use them. Wear ear protection. Dope. Cover up. I can put this blade on your circular saw, but you're going to wreck your circ saw. Go get this saw. Go get this. So my brother was like lessoning me on what to get, and then was just like, didn't really say how to use any of the tools. So I was just figuring it out. And my brother's like, he's like a little bit more like an intense version of me. So he's just like,
he's like, I don't know, figure it
out. So he had heard like from my sister-in-law, his lady, because she was like, oh, I think like Lou's getting into stone carving and shit. He's like, oh yeah, because he doesn't ever call me or anything. He's like, so what you got? And then he's like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. Oh shit! I'm like,
he was impressed.
He was impressed. My brother never picked on me. He was never mean to me. He's just kind of like a little cynical, like that's whack, that's corny, that's stupid. And then he was like, okay, you kind of know what you're doing. Okay, now try this, do that, put this on there, do this. And then I was like, okay. And he was like, go to this place to buy stone. Go to that place to buy. So my brother has had a history with stone, and he knows a lot, and he's just like given me a lot of pointers, you'd say. So yeah, my brother, being a stone mason, classically trained, has definitely guided me in the right direction with all of it. But I just got mega motivated because I was like, dude, you're always dying. Like, let's just accept it. From birth, you're dying. And I just felt life was moving so fast that I was like, I need to make work that's going to last. The archival value is always something I strive for, like how long your work is going to last. And I've always liked creating art outside. I like making and painting and doing things in the open air. And that's like stone carving is like so meant for, it's like an open air medium. Sure. And yeah, I just like fell in love with it until my mom was like 3 months into like lockdown. She's listened to a stone saw for 2 months straight. She had a meltdown on me. We didn't talk for a week. And then my neighbor, rest in peace, he was like, you're killing me, dude. He had cancer, and he was like, you're killing me, Lou. I love it. You do.
Like, I'm trying to stay
alive. He's like, I love it. Everyone's trying to be supportive, and I'm just like, I'm sorry. I had to like apologize and shit, because like a stone saw, you got to think like, you got some of the hardest things on planet Earth going at 9,000 revolutions per minute. Titanium, steel, diamonds, and granite. No one wants to hear that shit in June on Cape Cod. So this guy was like doing our septic tank. He was like, "Oh, you got to meet one of my friends. He's got a stone shop." And I worked at his shop after that for like a year and a half. And this guy gave me a lot of good, valuable lessons with stonework. He was an engraver, a cutter, and the dude gave me a lot of engravings. And we had a falling out, and I'm not going to name his name because no one even knows who the fuck he is, and I don't really want to get too much more. But the guy gave me a lot of good knowledge post my brother, and I learned a lot from him, and I'm very appreciative to everything he taught me about stone carving. But we just weren't seeing eye to eye, and I'm just an artist working in his in his headstone shop, and like I stand by my values and he stands by his values, and I'm the artist in his shop, and he's just like, you can't be here anymore. I'm opinionated, and when someone tries to try to play me like, oh, cute little sculptures, I'm like, nice fish, bro. And I was just like, we just butted fucking heads like a month ago, and he was like, you gotta go. And I was like, word, thanks for all your wisdom and knowledge. And then my brother's like, you can move into my shop. So when I go back up to Mass in the spring and summer,
Nice fish, bro.
yeah, and he fucking, and my brother's just like, and my brother and all his friends are just like, yo, just come and work on the shop. And they got all the heavy equipment to lift and move shit, and they got tons of marble and granite and stuff, because they go up to Boston to like when they're demolishing buildings and buy reclaimed granite. And my brother's like, all my brother's work outside of work is all based on reclaimed granite. And everyone wants reclaimed wood, a barnwood bar with whiskey. Like, there's a whole scene of reclaimed stone.
There is, yeah.
Huge scene. There's a dude in Baltimore that's so talented, stone carver. It's very talented, Sebastian Moritana, and he's all about reclaimed, like the marble steps in Baltimore, and he does like works for DC and like restoring stuff like that. So there's a deep scene in that, and I don't want a brand nice new piece of stone. I want like a piece of marble or granite that came off a church in Connecticut that's like messed up. So.
With the like Air Max, I don't want you to give away your artistic secrets or anything, but like with the VX 1000s and the Air Max and stuff, like I'm looking at the ramen Air Max. I don't know if you've seen this or like
the
the
casting
hot
work.
Cheetos, but I don't know what I'm looking. How is the ramen?
It's so okay. So I want to shout out.
Have you seen these?
I want to
It's
shout
all on his Instagram. Folks,
Yeah, I
want to
shout out
I've been paying
the
attention.
Sarah brothers too. They're like some iconic skate brothers.
Ivory and Shelter.
Yeah, Ivory and Shelter. And like I've known them right when I moved to New York. Ivory's a talented photographer. Shelter, very talented artist. I had saw Shelter doing casting work, and I was just like, that is so cool. But I need to find my way. I don't want to bite what Shelter's doing, but I need to find my niche. And then by accident, I didn't have enough resin to fill a mold, so I just started throwing lighters that I found on the beach into a mold, and then the resin was curing. It got mad hot. Popped, exploded, made a mess, and was like, air bubbles, this is terrible, I hate this. I'll post it, whatever, see what happens on Instagram. Got huge feedback, took it to Japan, showed a couple.
This was a shoe?
It was a Nike Blazer. And then all the work got good feedback from like Japanese people, and I was like, wait, so it is all about filling the molds with objects, because you one, save money, and then two, just trying to keep things like personal to me. But yeah, it's very confusing to people. They don't understand. They think I like paint the ramen on. It's hard.
That shoe wasn't filled with ramen, was it?
Yeah, they're like, so like I don't like you filled like you painted concrete on the outside of a shoe. I'm like, no, just like I just tell people this, like think of a silicone ice cube tray.
Yeah.
And I'm just making an ice cube. I'm making a custom ice cube tray. And like I didn't go to art school, and what do you use? What do you use? What do you use? What do you use?
What's your medium?
What's your medium? What do you use? DM. What do you use? How do you? I
keep
want to
that
make
secret.
what
Keep that
you
secret.
make.
Yeah.
Then go make it.
Figure it out.
I
Like I'm
literally-
supposed to tell you how to copy
was
my
like,
shit?
Yeah, Shelter gave me maybe one advice. Like Shelter was like, "Oh, pack it in clay," or like he was like, "Use super glue." Like I wasn't like nitpicking Shelter, and also I had already been making molds before I was like going to hang out with Shelter at his studio. So just like pay homage to those who inspired you, and just like, yeah, art, everything's been done, but just try and do it your way that's very personal and resonates your inner being. And like, yeah, I like Asian food. I'm using, and like ramen, the whole thing with that was like showing like just like noodles in a shoe is just gonna look bugged out. And I wanted to do
No,
spaghetti.
it does look bugged out.
Yeah, I wanted to do
the
spaghetti.
hot Cheetos and the trail mix.
I just want to make. I want to make people kind of
food.
I don't want to make serious art. I want to make art that's like makes people laugh. Like when you're trying to make serious things, it's like I can't be like that. I'm a white kid from Cape Cod that's just been a joker my whole life. Like my artwork has to have like resonate something out of my personality. Like I like to be funny, I like to joke around, I like to work hard. And that's like I try to make stone work like evoke like oh wait, oh that's stone. Oh, or like some of my casts is just like I want a little bit of a chuckle, but I want you to like think too like about the work. So the casting work is definitely like what
It's super sick, by the
Thank
way.
you, thank you.
I like everything you're doing.
It's fun. It's fun. I just get an idea and I just try to execute it as fast as I possibly can.
I remember you're doing the boards, and you gave me
The cardboard.
a
Yeah,
Warriors
cardboards,
board.
yeah.
You
That
gave
was
me
like-
with all the Warriors.
Yeah,
players
at
on it.
30, I realized like I had to stop bouncing around, and at 30, I was like, I need to build a body of work, and I started doing all that because like I had all these cards, and I looked them up and was like, yo, they're worth nothing. Mom, can you mail me all my cards? And I realized they weren't worth anything, so I was taking. My dad oversaturated me in baseball cards as a kid. My older brother, my mom was so pissed. My dad just spent like way too much money on us as kids on baseball cards, and it panned out to be nothing because his generation of the boomers, all their Mickey Mantles got thrown away, and that's why the cards became expensive. And our Ken Griffey's were overproduced, and that they got devalued. So I just took it all and was like, I'm going to take 3 generations of my life: skateboarding, which is still like deeply part of my life, baseball and baseball cards, which is my childhood, skateboarding, which is my teens, and art, which is my 20s. Taking 3 decades of my life at 30 years old and putting them all into one, which was skateboarding,
Interesting, yeah.
baseball card collecting, baseball and baseball card collecting, and art. And that's how the whole cardboards thing started out. And using boards and just trying to just utilize things that like I don't want to spend money on art supplies. I still try not to do that. So that was really the basis of how I started like creating a body of work, and then always having my work revolved around skateboarding because I felt like in my mid-late 20s I was just like, yo, I got to get away from making art that's involved with skateboarding.
Yeah.
It's corny. I don't want to be a scartist. I don't want to be skate art. Skate art.
Yeah.
Skate art. Scart. I know, if you know who said that first, then you know. So scart, I didn't want to be a scartist. But then I realized, why am I running away from making art
embrace
that's
it.
related to skating? And then I just fully embraced it. And then from like probably like 2012, I'd say like 2011, I was just like, yo, it's on. Just like get wild and make shit that's going to make people laugh, or just like make you think of your childhood and just bring back fond memories. And like I'm just trying to make people think of their past and then like make people laugh. And that's what I like to do is think of the past and laugh, but also move to the future and try to better yourself.
Have you collaborated with any brands, or would you collaborate with like a Nike or Supreme or something?
Well,
like
yeah,
that?
I've collaborated with like brands like on the casting work. Yeah, like competitors to where we're at right now. I have, and I'm always open, like in a way, like I don't want to like be pigeonholed, like oh, say I worked with them, and like oh, you worked with us, you'll never work with us again if you work with them, because some brands are like that, like especially like if they're competitive. It's like I was to work with Adidas, and then like while I'm finalizing a project with Adidas, like Vans is like, yo, we want you to do a marble half cab, and I'm like, okay. And then like someone at Adidas catches wind, they're like, yeah, we're gonna finish up this project, but we had other things in mind for you, but we're gonna go with somebody else now. Like I don't know, that could happen, but yet Jeff Staple gets to work and design for every sneaker company out there, so
it can definitely be.
It can be done,
Just
so-
in what capacity?
yeah. So right now, yeah, I'm trying to work with like I definitely would love to get more back into the core end of skating. Like I worked with Nike, but not SB, which I'm glad I worked with regular Nike, not SB, because I'm not really like into Nike SB that much. And yeah, now I'm like, I got a project in the works with like a more core, real skater owned thing. So I'm really happy for that, but I don't want to talk too much about it. But I have like a lot of respect for the brand and how long they've been around and what they've done for skating. And I'm glad to basically bring my creativity to what they have and try to do something really unique for that brand. And yeah, I'm willing to work with a lot of people, but the stonework, I'm definitely like trying to push that, but it's like it costs more.
Yeah.
Because it's a more of a skill that takes like, you know, not to say casting and mold making isn't a skill, but I try to push that on to people. They're like, yeah, it's cool. We like that. So I'll just, if I can get out of set design and working props to turn casting into my job and making molds and doing sculpture as my
That would
job,
be amazing.
let it be.
Well,
Let
when
it
are
be.
you? Do you have any shows coming up or anything?
Yeah, I got a group exhibition right now. It opened in January. The reception is on the 12th from 3 to 5 this Saturday, February 12th at Court Tree Collective in Sunset Park, Industry
Sick.
City. And I'm exhibiting work with 3 other artists there that are all self-taught. It's a self-taught, essentially folk art group show with artists that didn't go to art school that taught themselves. Like I tell people all the time, "Oh, how'd you do
That's
that?
dope.
You gotta learn. You gotta learn on your own." Like, yes, I had my brother to tell me this, but I had to figure things out on my own.
Of course.
And like that's just the best way for you to figure out how to do it. Like, don't go bother an artist that you look up to that much. Like, hey, I like your work. Like, you know, it's cool. I'm inspired by it. But then just take your plan on, take your point of view on, and then it might lead somewhere else. But the stonework, I want to push on brands, but it's just like it's hard. I want to put like the things that like it's like underwear, but it's like Patagonia shorts, but it looks like boxers. Everyone
Yeah,
thinks,
those are super sick.
but it's like basically Patagonia, and I'm trying to push that to them in a way. But I'm just open to work with literally anybody.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, and yeah, just like take that as my career in skating
For
to work
sure.
with brands and make my art resonate through what they have, and if they can see eye to eye with me, then that's great.
Word.
You know, so
Well,
think that's
everybody, I
it.
think that's
That's
it.
dope.
We got to wrap it up.
yeah,
Thanks for coming through, man.
Hell
yeah. No, it was
Respect.
great. It was great. I blabber.
Yeah, that was great.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank
I'd
you.
rather a blabber than a non-blabber.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed that.
I don't know.
I enjoyed that.
2 hours went right by. Cool.
Nah, you-
Thanks so much, man. I
kept it
appreciate it.
going,
Check
man.
out his work.
Thank you.
Post the show on your Instagram.
Yeah,
and-
yeah. Court Tree Collective,
Yeah.
and then my full name, all my sculpture. Try to keep sculpture and skating a little bit separate, even though they're pretty synonymous with it. So that's that. Enjoy, live your life. It's short, and yeah, just
Tap in with Lurker Lou.
Peace out.
take care.